podcast about Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft. This is the Angry Chicken.
Greetings and welcome back, everyone, to the Angry Chicken, the podcast about Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft. I'm Garrett Weinzerl, and with me, as always, is Willie Dills Gregory, Jocelyn Moffat, and not as always, Mr. Ben Brode from Team 5.
Yay! Hello, everyone. Hello. Good to be back. Everyone, get in here. New intro hype.
Oh, so good. So damn.
It happened.
Fantastic
So,
new intro.
Last time Mr. Ben Brode was on this show,
Yep.
he told me that he heard this Windows error sound in the intro, and I had never noticed it. And then I could not unhear it ever again from that moment on. So everyone started talking about it, and everyone was like, oh, yeah, you can't unhear it once you realize it's there. So I redid the intro, and here's what I discovered. There's a lot of feedback in that guitar. Like, he does, like, it's like a punk rock Hearthstone version of guitar.
Yeah,
There's a weird thing where his feedback sounds exactly like a Windows error message.
I was about to say, I have never
Yeah.
heard the Windows error message, and I to this day was arguing that it's
It doesn't exist.
it's someone
Yeah.
scraping the strings on a guitar with no frets pressed down,
Well,
and
it's covered up by all these background sounds, right? And
Right.
so it just kind of, when
Wasn't
you
that
hear
covered-
it just
wasn't
in the
that covered up?
background. Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, it stands out. Yeah. But it was just so strange because I went back and I was like, how did this happen? And then I realized it was in the original recording. So it's gone. I cut out that little section. You'll never have to be tortured by it again.
I love it
Everybody
though.
who-
It wasn't. I love crappy, dirty sounding guitar, and now you've removed that from the intro of the song. How dare you? How dare
It's
you?
still
Ben?
crappy and dirty sounding.
Okay,
Kinda.
yeah. I love a good scrapey guitar string. Jocelyn, how are you doing?
I'm pretty excited. I'm like really hyped right now. The new intro was amazing. I
Hype?
love it. So much hype.
Yeah, I mean,
Unicorns on her shirt. She's got it all going on.
Right? Unicorns, yes.
yeah,
And
all about
a bow
the
tie,
unicorns.
because I'm fancy like that.
I would say these bow ties are.
So hot.
Yep. First one of the show. So this is, of course, somehow we haven't said it yet. This is our 100th episode.
Whoa.
Yes.
Hold
Yeah.
on.
Two years of tack.
Wait.
100
This is
episodes.
this is your 100th episode?
Yeah.
How did you not?
Hold on.
What was happening?
What's Mr.
What is
Ben
he doing?
Brode
Show.
is taking his
So
clothes
hot.
off. Oh my God!
Oh my god!
He's got a suit on underneath. It's like Superman in reverse. Oh my God!
Oh my god!
Guys, the Angry Chicken is actually here.
We actually have on the show today the Angry
The
Chicken.
actual Angry Chicken, Mr. Ben Brode.
Oh my god.
I love that there's Team 5 people behind you right now who are just kind of still working while you're just throwing a chicken head on.
It's like, what is Ben doing? Is he talking to those guys that always crap all over our new cards? And
Oh my
Congratulations
god, that was
on
the
your-
best thing ever.
On your 100th episode, guys.
Oh,
Super
my-
exciting.
God, Ben, thank you. Thank you. We're going to break the Reddit, and it's all thanks to you. It's all thanks to you.
That's gonna be the new instead of like the Ben Brode head bob, we're gonna get now the Ben Brode transform
face.
into chicken. Yeah, polymorph chicken on Ben Brode.
Oh
so
my
good.
God.
It's so good. So is that your enrage? Is that what happens when we enrage you, Ben?
I like to imagine the Angry Chicken just hangs out in a suit all the time.
Now it's the gentleman chicken. Yeah.
We spent a long time trying to find the right chicken mask. For under $20.
Did you have to get your people on it?
Yeah.
You sent the Blizzard and the interns out. You're like, gotta go out there,
Your mission.
find me a
Get
chicken mask.
me a
It
chicken
makes
mask.
sense. Just do it.
So damn good. So, Mr. Brode, now that wonderful intro is over, thank you for joining us. We're going to get some, I'm sure, to some shenanigans later on. But since you're here, 100th episode or not, a big expansion did just come out. So
Oh yeah,
we
that's
are
right.
contractually obligated to pester you about the creation of said expansion and
Yes.
and,
Yes, of course.
and trying to get more information out of you about future expansions that I'm sure you can't talk about.
That's what we do here.
That's exactly what we do here.
Yeah, we've been through this whole dance before. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna slip a few things in there. That's what we're saying. But yeah,
Yeah. So while we're celebrating the 100th episode, I mean, what we're really celebrating is, the grand tournament, man. It's out. It's here. I've had horrendous luck getting legendaries.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's real bad. We're up to.
Someone could push a switch over there.
The count
and
is
get
now-
Garrett some more legendaries. That'd be great.
Yeah. We have a big button that said "Get Garrett Legendaries," and I kept smashing it. It's bugged right now.
It's not working.
It's bugged. Yeah. Sorry.
It's not
Working on it.
I feel like Ixar is on the other side, keeping the button from being pressed in. He's just like, no.
Yeah, this is for those watching at home. This is Ixar here,
Okay.
and that's Mike Donay right there.
Well,
I think he's watching the stream right now, actually.
so he's seeing all of
Pretending
this
to work.
with
Yeah.
slight delay.
He's doing what I do at work, which is just watch Twitch. That's pretty much
Yeah.
what I do.
Your boss doesn't watch this, does he, Dills? Are we gonna have to?
No, it's fine.
Are we gonna have to add a patron goal
no.
where people start paying your salary because you got yourself fired on the Angry Chicken?
I'm also going to say this. When new expansions come out, I may or may not do arena runs at work as well while I'm doing stuff. Hearthstone's perfect. I can, alt tab out for a minute and a half every little while. So it's fine. It's totally fine.
Awesome. Well, so grats on TGT. How is the launch for you guys over there? I assume, as with any launch at Blizzard, that you're all just in a big room full of levers, throwing all of them, stuff's catching on fire, and everyone's running around with a chicken mask, apparently.
I mean, it's super exciting because there's all these new cards and everyone's trying new decks. Obviously, we're very responsive and try and, if there's any issues that crop up, we have a crack team of superheroes working around the clock to make those issues go away. And they're like over there, sort of. So, yeah, I mean, there was some rockiness that we plowed through, but man, it's so exciting to have a bunch of new cards to play with.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
and everyone's only playing with one of them, though. What the hell's going on?
Hey, I'm playing Priest, and it's freaking awesome.
Yeah. Dragon Priest with some chill maw action is pretty sweet. But, yeah, that Paladin deck, it kind of started with Wreckful messing around on his stream one day. He's like, oh, this card seems awesome. And then he made this terrible version that had, a whole bunch of one-ofs. And now that's, all I see on the ladder. I gave Garrett a list, and then you were playing it, too. It's really good, huh?
It's insane. It's really it's really fun, actually. I'm usually the first to hate on just about any popular deck just because I'd like to try and be a Hearthstone hipster, but it's a fun damn deck. I really have a good time with it. This is, of course, the Secret Paladin. If anyone's listening at home and don't know what we're talking about, just head over to the Tempo Storm. It's the thing at the top of their meta report for this week.
Yes. It entered. TGT happened, and finally, Patron Warrior has been unseated.
Yes, to number two.
It was that quick.
Yeah.
To number 2 on the meta report.
Yeah. With a card that I'm going to say we all predicted wasn't very good on this very show. Because we looked at it, we were like, well, Paladin Secrets aren't very good. So I'm going to build my deck around this card that, sure, this card is good, but the rest of the deck's going to suck, right? And that is not the case at all. It is
No, it's not.
really, really good. Yeah. Did you guys
It's
have any idea?
really difficult to guess how good cards are.
Sure.
If it was easy, we wouldn't need to play test them. We would just be like, oh yeah, these cards are perfectly balanced. Let's just ship them.
Sure.
So it's very hard. I mean, you have to play a lot of games to figure out exactly how good every card is, basically.
Yeah. But when you looked at that card as a developer, were you kind of like, yeah, this is going to define Paladin a little bit? Because it's very
There's
powerful.
certain-
You think about
there's
what you're
certain,
doing.
triggers that get us very interested in cards to test them a lot. Searching your deck for specific cards can be very powerful.
Sure.
So we look at cards like that a little more carefully. Anything that's drawing cards and then playing them for free, anything that basically cheats mana, that's something we look at very carefully. So this card has kind of 2 of those
Sure.
things that make us a little scared. But we definitely try and make cards that shake things up, that let you that empower you to make new strategies and try new deck types. That's really important for us. And this is a card that just screams, build a deck with me. And the kind of deck you build is very different than other decks that have been available in the past. People are playing Repentance for the first time.
Oh yeah,
ever.
Yeah. I mean, everyone was telling me Eye for an Eye has finally had its day now, and I'm like, no, even still,
Even
we're
no.
still
No,
not
I know.
playing
Even
that.
still, it's not in the deck yet.
Poor Eye for an Eye, just like on the sidelines. They finally got a deck that it would be good in, and it's still not
He's
good.
like looking over the fence. Like, oh,
Yeah,
oh,
like all the secrets are getting
Is it my
played
turn,
now.
guys? Damn it.
Jeez. I'm
Well,
sorry.
so the reason why, like, I was thinking about the card more after actually playing the deck a bunch, because I basically plugged in that Tempo Storm version, which I think was RDU's version that he kind of hit on.
Yeah.
And I think I went like 10-2 immediately, and I was like, okay, this deck is crazy. And then I was like thinking more about it, and I was like, well, yeah, I mean, you're playing. I'm only playing 4 secrets. I played 10 mana worth of stuff on turn 6, right? And then the way that the secrets interact is really interesting because it kind of always leaves you with a pretty decent and buffed board after the turn's over. And then it also thins your deck so you don't draw secrets from that point on.
Yeah.
And the next bunch of draws are like really good cards.
that's
and,
important
you know,
because
yeah.
you have to put a lot of traditionally really bad cards in your deck in order to get it to work. Like
Yeah.
drawing Repentance, and is it fair to say that you played 10 mana worth of stuff? Is Repentance really worth a mana? I don't know.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, if they play a Leper Gnome into it, then definitely not, right?
This
So,
is a first for this show. Ben Brode coming on and talking smack about a Hearthstone card. Usually, you are here defending.
Repentance isn't even worth the 1 mana we gave it.
You were here for first, people. I wanted that on the front page of Reddit.
we were all talking before the show, like, I really wish we were doing like I mean, okay, we're happy we're doing TAC 100, or TAC 100 as I call it, but we really wanted to talk like just strategy tonight, and now look what happened. Like, we can't help
Well,
ourselves.
it's gonna happen anyway. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, Dills, are you incapable of saying anything just the way it is, or do you have to come up with some weird kind of?
I just like to say
offshoot
100,
way?
man. I don't know. Sorry.
Oh man, so bad. We need to get the rest of the Dills-isms into the show somehow, like the knife juggalo and
There was actually, I don't know
Patron
if
Warrior.
you saw, there was like a guy who left a 1-star review because he hated that I said Patron and Juggalo.
oh yeah.
It bothered him so much.
Guys don't understand that, like, when you leave reviews like that, regardless if you're nitpicking something I do, Jocelyn does, or Dills does, it just makes the three of us want to do that stuff even more.
Exactly.
'Cause
I was like, hell yeah, man.
We find it hilarious that our weird idiosyncrasies annoy you to that level. So now Dills is going
He
to
had
say
to take
100.
action. It bothered him so much. He took to the internet. Yeah.
Oh man, that's great. I think he was really just mad about Patron Warrior, and he misconstrued the strange way that you said it for proof that you actually came up with the deck, and he was blaming you for it. That's
Sure.
what the
Yeah,
the
exactly.
I have to make a card called Knife Juggalo just to
There you
confuse
go.
the whole issue.
It's a 2/3 that deals 1 damage to anything you don't want it to. Yeah, there you go. It's like the crazier drunk cousin of the Knife Juggler.
Oh jeez. So Jocelyn, do you have a question for Mr. Brode here?
Oh, absolutely. I'm really interested in just all of the new kind of mechanics that you've introduced with this expansion. I mean, like, Inspire so far is probably my favorite thing to do. Like, I mean, it just really changed up a lot of decks in a whole lot of different ways. Made, for me, Priest, which I literally was at level 20 until like a couple of days ago, and now I'm at like level 27 with my Priest because I've just been playing the crap out of it. So, like, how much work actually goes into the development process of adding a whole entire new mechanic as big as Inspire? How do you go about doing that?
I think Inspire really was the thing that started the whole development of the Grand Tournament. We were thinking about new mechanics for a new expansion, and we wanted to do something related to the hero power because I felt like there was lots of design space. We kind of dipped our toes in with was a Steam Wheel Sniper in GVG, and so we had that in our minds going into our brainstorm meetings for the next expansion, and to kind of help figure out, what does it mean to mess with hero powers, stuff like Goldara Drake, Maiden of the Lake, but also just something that triggers off using your hero power. Once upon a time, we had talked about activated powers, which is basically like you can attack or you can do something else. and we just didn't feel like there was a way to do. We tried designing some cards in that vein, and we felt like there was no great designs that we were really happy with, and this was almost like a way to do the same kind of thing, to give your minions a like an alternate thing that they do. Like this guy attacks, and he also summons Murlocs, or he also heals your hero, or whatever. That you have a choice that you could decide, I want to do this thing now. And so we started making cards that had the whenever you use your hero power, do this text, and we felt like we wanted to really, we felt like, hey, it's like it's okay now to do a new keyword. Hearthstone's been around long enough where it's not,
Sure.
you know, we had a lot of space to work with before that. And we felt like, okay, it's time. Let's do something new. Let's mess with this. And it also really is the best way to show this new mechanic that we were really excited about, kind of exploring beyond it. But Inspire, your hero power matters, and we did that with lots and lots of cards in the set. But that was the big focus for us, even before we had figured out the theming of the grand tournament. We knew we wanted to do a set about, and basically every time we came up with a card idea, we put it in with like a hero power component. We put it in this set, except for Steam Wheel Sniper before that. But we try to get them all into this set.
That is interesting, because I remember when that card came out, I was like, this card doesn't seem to fit so much yet. And then it's like down the road, you're like, oh, well, now it totally does. Because I remember at the time I was like, well, what if you get this out of a shredder? Does that mean I can aim my totems somewhere? Like, how does that, you know? I was like, this really kind of bizarre.
Totems.
Yeah, there's like this bizarre kind of moment of like, it doesn't make sense, like when you look at the rest of the set yet. But I feel like that's kind of been a theme too, where a thing that comes out and everyone goes, oh, that's pretty weak. Later sets can kind of snowball that and make it really work again. So like almost like what happened with dragons this set, where dragons were cool and everyone wanted to make them work, and then we just needed a couple more tools that we kind of got here in TGT that really like pushed them over the edge. So,
and I don't think any of us thought it was going to be priests that put dragons over the edge.
Yeah,
I certainly wasn't sitting there thinking that.
People were not super excited about Twilight's Drake, and now I'm seeing it get play, which is, I think it's awesome. I mean, it's cool to, you know, often we shoot for a certain power level for things, and we test them, and we try and get them just right, and then things go a little bit different than we expect. And, you know, if you're not the best deck, why play it? And so dragons didn't get as much play as we hoped or thought they would. And so, you know, it's easy for us to change. We just in the next set put some good dragons in, and now they're about where we want them to be. So, you know, it's cool.
Was it always the intention for dragons to be a really big thing in BlackRock? Because I know that's something we discussed a lot on the show, is just like, we wanted dragons to be so cool, and it's like BlackRock was just all dragons all the time, but no one could really make a deck work. And then all of a sudden Grand Tournament comes out, dragons are viable, and you're like, oh man, that would have been so great a few months ago. Like, in terms of like theming and stuff, like, are you aiming to make theme decks? Like, you want Inspire to be good now, or is like Inspire and Joust going to be even better later on when there's more cards?
I mean, I think that BRM did come up with some new dragon decks. People were trying Dragon Warlock. I saw even Dragon Warrior and Dragon Priest were being toyed with a little bit, and they weren't like super far off the mark. I think they just needed a little bit of juice. And ideally, for the Grand Tournament, people explore Joust and Inspire and find some decks they're really excited about. It's better that it comes out and that's what happens when the set comes out, as opposed to every set we're trying to make the thing we did last set viable. But yeah, I think there's a lot of, we're very, very early in the Grand Tournament's life cycle right now. People are still experimenting a lot, and so I'm curious to see other crazy decks that people come up with over the next weeks and months.
Yeah, I think the reason why the Dragon Priest is so popular now is because it kind of harkens back to that tempo Undertaker Priest, where you just have a strong card every turn that you just put on the board, and no other deck can really support that the way the Priest can. So, you know, and obviously the addition of some actual Dragon cards just specifically for Priest, but just their ability to support these cards that are stronger than they're supposed to be on the turn you play them, if you can fit this condition. And that's really what Dragons were missing, I think, is they needed to have more really good dragons that they could hold in their hand that weren't going to, I guess, gimp your early game, right? Like, I wanted to make this card work, so I had to hold Alex Straza in my opening hand, and that was just not really a great strategy, you know? Like, it's tough to actually make that work, but it's exciting to see that they're actually kind of come to the front. And Jocelyn brings up a good point, which is the new mechanic. You guys also introduced another new mechanic that doesn't have its own keyword necessarily on the card, but does exist, and that's joust. So since we're talking about the new stuff, what was the like? How did you guys go about with the balancing of this new mechanic? And the fact that you're showing cards to both players is an interesting facet of this, this mechanic as well. So I mean, that's a little dangerous to start messing with. How did you guys kind of approach that one?
Well, it all started because once we had honed in on this theme of the grand tournament, really based on the Argent tournament from World of Warcraft, I knew that we had to have some kind of jousting. That's like the whole thing about the Argent tournament is people are jousting constantly. And so I tried a lot of just different varieties of what that could mean for Hearthstone. I really love it when there's a cool mechanic from World of Warcraft that we can kind of tweak and do it like a really Hearthstone way. That's one of the most fun things about designing adventures is, okay, how do we make Gothic the Harvester work in Hearthstone? It's like totally weird in World of Warcraft. So that's really exciting to me. And jousting as a thing, there's a lot of directions I felt like we could have taken. I tried just kind of doing a lot of stuff with charge, and actually some of the old designs just ended up being other cards in the set, like Argent Horse Rider is just a take on jousting, sort of, is jousting equal charge. But I wanted to do a little bit more than that. I felt like we could make it more of a thing, and so we tried several versions of joust, and the one that we kind of kicked everything off was you both reveal a card, and if yours costs more, you get a bonus. And then over time, we changed it to you both reveal a minion, and we felt like that made it a lot more build around you because you could focus your deck on high cost minions and maybe some low cost spells to keep you alive. So that's kind of where we ended up on joust.
So what were some of these? We can't go right by that. What were some of these ones that got thrown away? Did you give us any of those?
Well, I mentioned the all cards version.
The all cards, but were there any that were just totally off the wall, completely different than what we see now?
It was so long ago now that I don't remember some of the other things we tried.
All right.
But there was some other one. I tried a couple different things before we ended up on the current version of Joust.
Yeah, it's an interesting mechanic because it really does. It feels like it's an attempt to slow the game down, and yet their cards aren't they would be really overpowered if you could just do all. I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I think you guys have balanced it really well because I'm seeing them one or two played now, and I see some room to kind of improve on those cards later on. So it's an interesting mechanic. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to pull us actually back a little bit to Inspire again because it's such a tempo-driven game now, and you've kind of slowed everything down. How did you go about actually balancing all the Inspire cards that actually require players to spend mana on their hero power? Did you factor that into the power of the cards? How do you go about that?
Yeah, I mean, we tried a lot of different both sizes of minions, stat distributions of minions, and types of Inspire triggers, what you get when you Inspire. And we felt like our first try was we tried a lot of low cost minions, and we felt like we didn't really want to be encouraging you to do lots of hero powering earlier in the game. You have lots of cards you want to play, and so the Inspire triggers had to be really compelling to get you to not play a card on turn 2 or 3 or something. Sure. So we moved a lot of our Inspire designs to more higher cost minion cards, and we also felt like it was more fun if you actually got to Inspire your minions, so we changed a lot of the Inspire minions to have more health than attack. So Kodo Rider and those types of minions, those were ones that we tweaked a little bit later to give them a little bit more juice. And then also we tried to make the higher cost Inspire triggers a little more exciting, so you felt like, okay, well, I could play this right now and risk maybe him dying next turn, but if I really care about getting this great Inspire trigger, I'm going to play it for 2 more mana and get it right away. And it gave you kind of an option. You have to decide whether you want to take the risk or not, which I think is cool.
Yeah, that's when we looked at the cards. We were just thinking, okay, so I could play this on turn 4 in hero power, or I could just play a 6-drop, which would be so good on turn 6. And that was always the difficulty for me with wrapping my head around. Is this card worth a spot in my deck? But I think they've actually all, as I've seen them come around, I mean, some are good, some are bad, and that's kind of how it should be. And they all kind of seem to fit the turn that you want to use. Murloc Knight is really a 6-drop at this point, I think. you want to get that hero power right away.
It's a 6-drop that
three
you
bodies
just
on the board.
have the option to play it on
Yeah.
turn 4 if you
Sure.
need to. If they have a 3/3 and you're like, they're going to start running me over, I need to get some board presence. Hey, you can play it on turn 4. So it just gives you a couple more options, which is cool.
And it's a card that could take over the game if they can't get rid of it. So it's
Yeah.
it's a really, really interesting card. Yeah.
Stupid Murlocs.
Speaking of cards, I don't think we really gave the time of day to when we were looking at them in the preview. Are there any other cards out of the set, Ben, that you think are going to surprise players? I mean, obviously we have the Mysterious Challenger, which is blowing everyone's minds at the moment, and I'm sure annoying some people. And even the Dreadsteed, which there are a couple decks making the rounds right now.
Love that.
People
deck.
want that to work so badly.
Oh man, I dropped 800 dust on 2 of those today. I had a really good time, and I have a terrible win rate. It's a fun deck.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem consistent, but I'm having a good time with it. But are there any others that you're kind of just like, man, once they figure this out, once they figure out this combo, or once they figure out this deck composition?
I had to go do some reconnaissance because I knew you guys were going to ask this question. I went and asked Danae and Dean, and they were saying that the cards that they feel like are maybe the most undervalued right now are Bash and Holy Champion.
Okay.
So,
I think Holy Champion is actually really, really good. I pick it all the time in Arena. Bash is a weird one because it feels underpowered, but I see that it kind of fills a spot Warrior didn't already have, which was like damage you could send somewhere without it being a weapon, right? So you could just kind of do it anywhere and also gain a little life at the same time. It's an interesting one. I've seen it. I've seen it already in a few control decks.
Those are either really good advice, or Mike Danae is known to be the biggest troll of all time. So possible there's some of that. We'll have to find out.
I have Holy Champion in my priest deck, and there have been times that I have like Holy Nova'd and swung for like 19 with her.
Oh, nice.
Man, she's so good.
That was one of the minions that I was the most excited for when we were looking at the spoilers for TGT. Like, I don't have a priest deck together at the moment because I'm waiting for my Paltris, but I'm 68 packs open with 1 legendary. What's going on, Mr. Brode? It's a conspiracy against me, I swear.
Button, man. I don't know what's going on.
You should be flicking the switch. That's the problem. You're hitting the button. You need to flick the switch.
I think there's a button on your side, Garrett, too, that you're not pushing. Like, they're doing their part, but you need to
You're slacking.
participate.
Are you not pushing the button on your side?
Oh,
Yeah,
there's a
gotta get
button?
the button we sent?
Oh, man. Darn. What a shame.
Now I really want like a big orange like legendary button.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
just,
I was just taking shots for legendaries. Now I need to get a big legendary button that just does.
that seems like it'd be a lot healthier. I'm gonna put that
Well,
out
I mean,
there.
at the
dudes.
rate I was getting them, it was very unhealthy. It's true.
Oh, thanks. I would have been
Send it in my first 100.
I would have been sober as a bird.
Yeah, you would have been like, well, that was disappointing. All right, so we've talked about some of these new cards and these new decks, but I think we have you touch on what has been kind of the top deck, according to a lot of players and stuff, for a long time now, longer I think than any other deck has been at the top. And we've had stuff like, Miracle Rogue and stuff that has been at the top for a long time, but Patron Warrior. How do you guys feel about that now? Is it still on the wall? I've heard you guys say it's on like something we're watching. I've never actually heard you guys come out and say like, oh, we think it's potentially a problem, just something we're watching. Are you guys still watching that? Where are you guys at internally with Patron at this point?
I mean, we play a lot of Hearthstone, and we watch a lot of Hearthstone, and we pay attention to basically everything everyone is saying. Patron is concerning. Like, I think if we were recreating some old cards right now, we probably wouldn't have made those cards in a way that let you do those kinds of things. But there's a real cost to nerfing cards, and so we just want to make sure if like something is really, really above that bar for us before we take steps. We're still watching things. It's very hard to make any nerf decisions this soon after a expansion comes out, because everything changes so much so frequently. You just don't really know how things are going to shake out. It's just, not only does it devalue your collection to just change things from underneath you. We give dust refunds, but it doesn't it doesn't feel right. They don't feel like real cards. They feel like things you can just change willy-nilly. And it's it's a subjective thing, right? Some people would nerf more frequently than we choose to, and some people wouldn't have nerfed things that we have nerfed in the past. But I do think it's very important for us to make really well-informed decisions and only take action when absolutely necessary. I think some people have called for nerfs to cards in the past pretty quickly after a set launches. Like I think people wanted Mech Warper nerfed and Dr. Boom, and some of those things were reasonable to ask for, but taking a more conservative approach to nerfing means that when you think of those cards, they're always the same. They've always been the same, and that's what that card is. It has an identity. That's somewhat important, and so it's just our current approach right now is we want to play it safe.
I don't disagree with it. I think the reason people are concerned were things like the Trump game where he literally tried to clear his own board and then still died, in one turn from 60 health or something. And that's when people go whoa.
It's not great, it would be better if that didn't exist. Yeah, somewhat, but there's other costs in the other direction. And really, at this point, who knows what's going to happen? It's the Wild West again.
Yeah. I've actually noticed that it's not been as prevalent as oh, is that Young Woo?
A wild Young Woo appears.
What's up, Young Woo? I want to see Young Woo with a chicken mask. But I've noticed that it hasn't, I don't think Patron has necessarily taken over. We see it a lot in tournament play, and we see it played even suboptimally by some of the best Hearthstone players in the world, because that deck is really difficult to play, that it kind of nerfs itself in the hands of most people. It's so hard to wrap it. Miracle was kind of the same way. When a player got to know the deck so well that they knew the ins and outs of every single turn and the permutations that would happen, then it looked insane and looked like a deck that shouldn't exist. But in the hands of most people, it was no, this is fine. It's not an imbalanced deck. I think kind of that's where I've ended up landing up with Patron after playing a lot of games with it, is that I'm not concerned with it as much because of how hard it actually is to play. So
there's another component to this, which is that if we had taken a less conservative approach with nerfing cards, it puts the onus on Blizzard to solve imbalances in the game. And if you as a player believe that no nerf is coming, then it puts the onus on you to adapt and build a deck that can handle the meta. And what that means is that we need to provide tools that are good at dealing with basically any kind of deck. So if you're frustrated by Secrets, you can put Kazan Mystic or Flare in your deck or things like that. It's the hardest thing for us to do is provide tools for spells and charge minions, because you need to provide those tools in advance. Like Lotheb, you can't, if your opponent's casting Fireball on you to kill you, it's too late. You needed to anticipate Fireball and play Lotheb the turn before, and then if you miss that, it's too late. You've lost. So those are challenging problems for us to provide tools for. It means we're less likely to do very powerful charge minions that can go straight to the face. Ice Howl is a cool example of a new style of charge minion because it can't just wreck you. And some of our new spells, they're more likely to hit minions than they are to hit the enemy hero, and that's part of the same reason.
That's a really interesting point. I think so. Jocelyn thinks that nothing should ever be nerfed ever.
I know.
And,
I love this whole entire answer, because I always say, I was like, no, don't nerf cards. Just let us figure it out. There's a lot of really smart people in the Hearthstone community. We will figure out how to just screw Patron. Don't change a thing.
Yeah. I think the issue though is Garrett, you could probably speak to this because you do so much hero stuff. And sometimes in a game like Heroes of the Storm, if a hero is not very powerful, he essentially just isn't played. And
right.
That's where it becomes an issue where Blizzard has to step in, right?
Well, that's a little bit of it. I feel like that's a bit shifting gears, because I would almost apply that to the pre-TGT Priest discussion, saying, well, Priest just seems underpowered. Even if that is true or not, the folks that are Ben Brode has another mustache all of a sudden.
The mustache on his water bottle.
Ben, you
guys have way too many toys at your office.
Yeah.
You make it quite difficult to stay on topic at times. Whether or not Priest was underpowered or not, whether that's true or false, just it being considered by the community as a truth can really discourage a lot of people from experimenting and finding it and making it work. So I don't know how much that really applies to the patron thing, because I don't feel like there was a lack of people trying to find a way to bury patron as hard as they could.
Sure. No, absolutely. And I think it's different in the combat the top deck rather than make the worst deck work. Like there are guys like Yang Wu who will always try to make the worst deck in the game. Like the worst class in the game, and he'll try to make it work. Like historically, that's what that's fun for him, right? And then, but most of the people will just go, oh well, whatever. I won't play that deck because it's not very powerful. But the and I like what you said, because the problem with just nerfing cards is then players will just go, well, I'll wait for this to get changed by Blizzard before I actually do any experimenting. I just won't experiment because they'll change it, right? Like they'll change it at some point. So
no, I mean, Ben, you made a really good point. I mean, as much as we're like teasing, I felt like we were kind of joking there because like, oh, Jocelyn never wants anything changed. You're making her real happy, but that is a really good point to bring up.
Yes,
which is you don't want the innovation of players to get stale because they just think you and the rest of Team 5 will come swooping in with your Nerf axe and
yeah. I mean, sometimes we do have to, and that's ideally we never do, and sometimes we mess up and we make a card that's too good. But it does have an effect. It has a real effect. So
yeah. I if I can just take a moment, I want to peel back. I want to peel back the layers of the cake that is Ben Brode. Can I talk to you as a
peeling off the layers right now?
Taking it off. You as a person and as a gamer and not as a developer. I've played games with you before. I've been fortunate enough, or if you've seen my win rate in Heroes recently, maybe not so fortunate to play some Heroes games with you. And you are one of the most just incessantly positive people, regardless of how the game is going. It's you're doing that. You're just laughing and walking face first into your own destruction. And I'm curious, do you ever rage?
Garrett's raging silently.
Have you ever, have you had your moments like everyone else has? You're queuing up on ladder in Hearthstone, you go up against a patron and they just own you, and do you ever just go, oh, come on? There's got to be a point where you, as in the position that you're in, you're just like, man, I just want to go into the office and nerf the crap out of this.
I've definitely been frustrated by that kind of thing. Back when Leroy was running rampant on the ladder, I had a lot of moments where I just wanted to, take my iPad and smash it on my face. But of course that happens. But you find a way.
You understand the ins and outs of what's going on, so it's a little different of a situation for sure.
Now, real quick, Ben, you're in no particular hurry to leave the show like usual, correct?
Correct.
We're good? Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. No. Well, my question is is it okay if we hit pause on the more formal TGT interview? I'm sure we're going to hit you with more TGT questions later, but Mr. Frodan is on a very tight schedule tonight.
Yes, let's get him in.
And he's ready, so we're going to bring him in.
He's a super busy guy. He's at, what is it, PAX? He's in Seattle? Is that what's going on?
He's at Lord of the Arena. Where is that happening? Is that at PAX?
I feel like it's at PAX. Crip's there. He flew in the other day or something.
I don't know. I'm going to Dragon Con on Friday, so all the other conventions don't exist because I'm trying to wrap my head around the 8-hour drive I'm doing.
Hey guys! Oh my God, I'm so yellow.
I was just about to say you were.
Whoa! Hold on.
I'm actually at a rave right now, guys. I'm phoning in.
Oh man, your camera took Molly.
What is going on?
Oh, now you're really green.
Oh my God! All right, wait.
He's Rainbow Frodan.
Can you force it to cycle like that without you messing with it? Because that'd just be really entertaining.
Literally.
The Young Wu chicken
is that the Young Wu chicken?
I don't know if you know this, but there's a chicken right behind you right now.
Hold on. I'm getting close.
We all know what you look like, right?
Oh,
okay, there you go.
All right, cool. That's more
it's
normal.
The hairdo makes you look, different colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me concede this game real quick. I was actually. All
right, what deck are you playing, Frodan, and why
I
is
can't
Secret
tell you that.
Pally?
That's secret tech.
Oh, secret.
Oh, secret.
Yeah.
Secret
Secret
tech.
Pally.
Yeah,
That's
we
right.
all know
Well,
it is.
no. I'm actually playing against the Secrets Pally, and I have
Of
a deck
course.
that I think kills it.
Oh.
But
Okay.
I don't get to submit many ideas to Tempo Storm because they are much better than me at Hearthstone. But when I do submit a good
Debatable.
idea, I take it very seriously. So when I submit an idea, I think it might have potential to maybe break the meta, and it's with some cards that I don't think people are expecting. So it's working. It's working pretty well. But maybe guys like Hyped and Reyna and all of them can continue to break it even more.
Okay, so will you at least do us a favor and like put out a tweet saying, "All right, the deck is up. This is the deck I was not admitting to the other night," so we know it's your deck.
Yeah. In
Okay.
about a week and a half, I'll post if people really still care about it. Maybe by then it'll be irrelevant in the metagame, but I think it's a really cool deck. I can talk about the deck I did ladder to legend last season, which was well, I don't know, I'm playing on Europe, and this season still matters in NA, but I used a deck with fearsome Doom Guards in order to get to legend.
Wow.
Yeah, I used a
Awesome.
Demon Lock with Fearsome Doom Guards. So what you do is you replace like Mountain Giants with Fearsome Doom Guards, and then you just taunt it up, and you laugh at the fact that they can't do anything to it because
Can't
it's a
BGH
6/8
it.
minion.
Yeah.
No, you can't BGH it. You have to get through it honestly. Yeah, it's so good. And
You actually have to run minions into it. Think of the what?
yeah. Oh, it's
That
so good,
sounds
and it
made
trades
up.
up. It trades up against it trades so well against everything. Like it's just super effective. I
That's
love
insane. Mages are sitting there going like, "Not even my fireball. My fireball doesn't
it.
do
Yeah.
it. What is
They need
this?"
to flame lance it.
They're
in
gonna play
order
a
to kill
flame
it.
lance. Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Ben Brode had a really good laugh at that one.
Oh. Well, Frodan, thank you so much for joining us on the show. We know you're pretty strapped for time tonight. You're off doing Lord of the Arena and
Yeah.
just being your general busy self. So thanks for
Yeah,
stopping
sorry I
by.
couldn't dress up. Like you guys all look really good. And
Oh,
I
Ben Brode
look,
dressed up for all of us. So,
Yeah,
I know.
Dills is
He's
no, it's
putting us all
okay.
to shame.
You
I'm
and Dills
living
are
out
super.
of a suitcase just like Frodan is right now. So yeah.
Oh,
appreciate
delightful.
it. Thanks for having me. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
no problem. I'm actually, since we're all here, I'm going to go ahead and bring in our last guest as well. Karma.
Oh my
will be-
God, it's about to get crazy. in
Karma
here.
will be joining
Oh,
us.
wow.
It's gonna get tough to talk, but that's fine. This is TAC 100. We're all just here to have a good time.
Oh, it's
Hi,
fine.
guys.
It's good. Hey, Karma.
I'll just be the laugher.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, Brodan. Hi, Ben.
It's a party in here at this point.
How are you guys doing?
Doing all right. How you
Karma
doing?
hype.
Doing well. Doing well.
So, Frodan and Karma, you're latest to the show. How's TGT treating you guys?
Ladies first. Where I come from.
that's what it
Grand
does mean.
Tournament has been fun. As far as wins go, not so good. I always have, like, way too much fun in the beginning of the season. And I make, like, stupid, ridiculous decks just to see what's strong and what's not. And then, like, in a week or so, I try and create things that are, like, stronger and focused once I find out the cards that are better. But the first week for me is usually a complete mess, and I lose a ton of ranks, and I'm testing everything out. So not too great, but I've had a lot of fun doing it, that's for sure.
What deck are you currently trying to make work right now?
Shaman, Totem Shaman is really tough to try and make work, and I've been playing a deck I call Light Ninja. It's like a priest deck, and it uses the 4-drop priest card, I'm forgetting the name, that gains attack when you heal it.
The holy champion?
Yeah, so I use the Holy Champion card, and I use Light of Naru and Flash Heal and all those types of things to, like, OTK people. So I've been trying
Nice.
that as well. Yeah,
Nice.
lots of fun.
She's been patron too many times, so spreads it against other people.
Exactly.
I was trying to get her to make the confused deck, but she wouldn't do it on stream. I was like, all you do is you play the big, like with the 1/8, and then you turn it into an 8/1 and swing face.
Exactly. Face.
We tried with the double the minion's health card. We had a bunch of fun games with that. Just like a double health and inner fire deck, which
I'm
is
actually,
so fun.
I'm going to kind of put you on blast here, Karma, because I did watch it live where you did what I think a lot of people have done, which is like, I'm going to silence Chilma. And then you're like, oh, wait.
I know.
Charge goes away.
Yeah, the Ice Howl guy.
Or yeah, Ice Howl. There
Yeah, I
you go.
had
Thank you.
lethal and
Yeah.
I silenced it and it lost charge. And I was like,
You're like,
oh
uh-oh.
my
I
god.
should have thought about this.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, it was horrible.
I think a lot of people have done that move already at this point.
You know, I would love to do that if only I opened an ice howl.
You can have one of mine. I've got like
This is
3.
all Garrett's going to talk about.
I'm just gonna keep this gag going about how unlucky I am getting legendaries. Oh, jeez. So Fran, I guess you already kind of talked about the deck you've been playing, with the exception of the fact
I mean,
you can't
that
really
was one of
mention
those things where you just kind of look at cards immediately and try to slide it into what you know. I mean, everyone picks at, like, the Druid cards, for example, Darnassus Aspirant. They're like, wow, this is, I think some people are like, how does Blizzard even let this happen? And then they realize it's a pretty good card, but maybe it's not as broken as people originally thought, right? And it actually fits very well. Love it when it gets off my opponent shredders. That's the best feeling ever, because Pilot Shredder could sometimes be knocked down a peg or two, and I love it when that pops off. I really like where TGT is just heading design-wise. I think it's really clear that Blizzard really puts a lot of time and attention into the cards itself. And I'm not saying that just because Ben says it, but I say it because I talk with them, and I get to really play. I play a lot of Hearthstone, too, myself, whenever I can. And it's just cool to see them push the limit, and they're willing to do that. There's a lot of games that will, like, their philosophy is to, like, make it safe. Like, don't try to break the game. Don't try to make it a bad experience. But they really push it. Like, things like Emperor Thorson is a good example. Like, that's probably borderline not okay, but they'd rather let people experiment with it. And it's starting to happen with cards like Astral Communion. That card's so cool. Probably never truly competitive, but for a good reason, because I think it wouldn't be fair if it was the case. Cards like Dreadsteed's a good example. I love the direction of design for, like, both Ram Shield, for example. That's really cool, even though I look like an idiot on stream with it. It's just cool that they're willing to play with these kinds of ideas of extremity. And as long as it truly doesn't destroy the game experience, which it hasn't, it lays a really good foundation for future cards to continue to interact with it as a good foundation, or to use it as a way for it to be viable as later on. Like, people don't really think about the core cards that got buffed, right? There was a post like Totemic Might and Sacrificial Pack. Those are regular cards that you can use in the right situation. So TG is a affirmation that I think Hearthstone's going in a fantastic direction.
Yeah.
Personally.
I feel like I have to acknowledge the baby rage in chat about rogues because they just won't stop. People are apparently really upset about where rogues are right now, and I'm kind of okay with it because I think that Oil Rogue is still fine. I mean, just the AoE potential that it has is okay, but I think it's just one of those things where Rogue's not going to work with Inspire so much because you do your hero power and then you don't do it again the next turn. It's like it's just not going to fit as well. You guys have any thoughts on that?
The only rogue I'm seeing right now is actually Mech Rogue, which is so weird.
Whoa.
But it's everywhere. Like, every single rogue I faced in the last, 3 days has been Mech Rogue. I'm like,
do they have Fell Reaver
what are
in
you
it?
even doing with your
Fell
life?
Reaver Mech Rogue? Yeah.
All they do is they sap your taunts and hit you with Fell Reaver.
And hit you with Fell Reaver. Yeah.
I think Rogues actually is one of those sleeper classes. I think you just give them time for people to look at it eventually, and maybe they figure it out. I mean, I encourage everyone to try and coin Shadow Pan Rider. That card is awesome. If you're just able to use it. And, like, people don't really see the application immediately, but don't let other people do it for you. Just experiment with it and just see what works. Rogue's not in as bad of a spot as you think it is.
No, Rogue's traditionally been one of the I feel like higher skill cap classes. Like Miracle, when it came out, everyone talks about it and they're like, oh, I hated Miracle, it was terrible. But you ever try and actually play it? It was not a particularly easy deck to play, and neither is Oil Rogue. It took people kind of a long time to tweak it and get
you
it
can't
to a point.
sit there and think about your turn. You kind of have to go and then see where the turn takes you, right? And it's a very hard thing to do to alter what you're planning on doing as the turn is progressing forward. Like, it's always like a thing. Like, Karma plays a lot of. I've seen Karma play a lot of Rogue and a lot of, like, Handlock. I think those are both decks where the turn, what the turn actually looks like changes a lot based on that I tap first and then it changes the whole turn. Or, as I play Rogue, the turn changes. So, I mean, where do you see it, Karma? Do you see Rogue as a bad spot right now?
I don't think Rogue isn't as bad of a spot as it looks. I think that there's definitely techs that are probably going to come out. I just don't know if I don't know if it'll ever be a top tier deck right now, but I do think that there are versions like, I think that there might be maybe an option for Dragon Rogue, something along those lines, but I think that the problem that Rogue faces is that the oil card is more of a tempo-based card than it is a control card. And that's its main board clear is oil and poison and flurry and that type of thing. So it's hard to play a control style deck with like big drops without using like a perfect prep turn or something like that to gain board control with your big creatures on board, stuff like that. Yeah. So like a lot of rogues right now are built for tempo and aggro and that type of thing. So for it to switch turns with TGT is like it probably will take some getting used to because everyone's used to building them aggro and tempo, and maybe now they'll have to sit back and try Malagos Rogue, maybe a Dragon Rogue with control and that type of thing with spells, stuff like that.
I still kind of think that what's the new Anubarak? I still kind of think Anubarak has got some sort of place as a crazy finisher that we just don't know about yet. Like some sort of a tempo rogue that just gets there, and then you just have this card that they can never get rid of. I know, but I mean, I feel like it's going to happen at some point.
Listen, he's awesome.
I want it to work so bad. I have a golden one.
It's awesome if you get it off like Confessor Paletris or Sneeds, but let me tell you,
I want it to work so bad.
With great caution.
Don't
try it at home, kids. I've tried it way too many times.
Mr. Brode, you have defended cards on this show before. You have anything to say on Anubarak's behalf?
Tell me why that card's good. Please, somebody.
I mean, you play Anubarak, and you keep playing Anubarak until you win.
Exactly.
Sure.
No, I'm surprised no one's running as much silence as I thought they'd be running because of all these new crazy cards. But I feel like also people haven't been able to find a spot for things like Owl these days. Because you just there's so many cards you kind of need to have. And you're like, well, I can't really afford this card slot. So I feel like a card like Anubarak, because of that, can potentially go off. But it's true. Like, it's too expensive. It's 9 mana.
Maybe if they made a mechanic in the future that reduced, like, a card that is like that, and then when it dies, it reduces its cost by 1 or something like that, maybe it would have potential that way.
Hint, hint, Ben Brode.
Yeah. Are you writing these down?
Yeah, you writing these down?
He's getting a notepad.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Poor Anubarak.
Yeah, no one loves him.
I enjoy him in Heroes.
Right? Yeah. That's my only like good hero in Heroes. So I was excited. I got a gold one. It's like, oh, I'm gonna make this work, and no, it hasn't worked.
You got a gold one. You should try and make it work, Dills.
All right. I won't give up. I will not give up. Dills to whatevs. Let's do this.
Since we got you guys here, and 100th episode, we can look back a little bit. What decks does everyone miss? Mentioning Rogue and Miracle Rogue's gone now. Is there a deck that you miss? And I don't want a trolley answer. Like if you actually miss Miracle Rogue, I want to know about it.
Yeah, that's okay. I won't judge you.
Yeah,
I do. I miss Miracle Rogue. I'll say it immediately. I loved that deck. It was so fun. I loved the playing like prep on an empty hand, and you pray that you get like that one card that you needed. And the Auctioneer, I don't know. I just like the whole animation of Auctioneer. The coins are flying everywhere, and you're going through your whole deck in like a turn. I don't know. I thought it was really fun. I miss that deck a lot, especially the Battle Cry of Leroy. I mean, how do you not enjoy that Battle Cry?
Yeah. That was the everyone get in here of its day, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Frodan, how about you?
Oh, man. I kind of did a quick scour in my memory banks of, like, all the decks that used to exist, and I realized they all kind of still exist today, so it's kind of hard to say that you miss one. I guess in terms of popularity, I really miss the fact that Shaman used to be really common in the top. I don't really like the mech Shaman as much. I think it just felt always like either blowouty on one side or the other. Like either the mech Shaman runs over somebody or just completely dies. So it just never felt really that cool from spectating it. I always enjoyed the mid-range Shaman. I really like some of my favorite games ever were always like things like Shaman versus Warrior, because I feel like it's a very classic matchup. The whole like the way it's dichotomized, like Warrior runs out of time to kill the totems before it just overfloods them. They have to manage the resources very carefully. Shaman has to bait it out. Like that was always like a really good tug of war that I liked. So it's not really like a deck that I want to come back. It's just more like matchups that I want to see, because I think as part of the struggle with things like the current meta before TGT came out was that you eventually saw some of the similar matchups over and over, and there used to be a lot of diversity in the past with different decks. I want to come back as well to join them, so that way there's a lot more. That's all.
That makes sense. I mean, you cast all these games, so it makes sense you want to see those matchups again, because that was always a classic matchup. But yeah, I'm not a big fan. I tried to make the Mech Shaman work for me, and with my playstyle, I just didn't like it.
There is one deck that I really like, though, above everything else. And it's like a grinder control mage, but the ones that have Major Domo in it are really fun. Like, that's actually my favorite deck to play. Because
the
it's like,
Ice Block Major Domo.
It's like the fact that you get to kill him with Major Domo is pretty awesome. It's
Yeah.
like they don't want to kill it because they know they're not prepared to deal with the Ragnaros effect of it. But they also realize that they're losing Major Domo, so they're mad. So then they just like don't do anything. They quit. They rope out, and then your opponent left. And I'm like, yeah, you did.
Now that I'm
The power of the Executus.
Now that I'm coming to the full realization that you are an ambassador for fun in Hearthstone, Frodan, I'm very excited to see whatever this mystery deck is that you're playing with.
It's a great deck.
Oh, that sounds so wonderful. You're also just a man after my own heart. Beta Shaman was just my favorite. I fell in love with it immediately.
It was
I don't know
really
if you remember. It was Beta had just started, and I came in. I was a big StarCraft fan at the time, so I checked out Artosis's StarCraft blog, and there was a thing about Control Shaman. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
let me try this out. And I just fell in love with that deck and rocketed up to. We didn't even have ranks at the time. I think it was Diamond. It was like StarCraft leagues at the time.
Yeah, Grandmaster.
Yeah.
If
People
there's
were
one
writing
thing,
on Hearthstone Reddit like, "I a Grandmaster deck. Check out my Grandmaster." Everyone's like, "We don't care."
If there's one thing that I don't want to come back, because I think that's also an interesting question, I don't want fatigue decks to come back. I think people really don't understand what they're asking for when they want things to like go to fatigue all the time, because those games can feel really drawn out, and it's just like some things, like some complexity with fatigue decks can be fun, but when it's like dominant strategy, I remember Chalky one time brought 3 fatigue decks and he tried to target control. It wasn't a very interactive experience. It's more like you're literally powerless to do it and you're watching one person struggle for air, except it's drawn out. So like if you can't do anything, you lose in one turn, whatever, you can kind of get frustrated and move on with it, and that's a combo. And those things eventually, I'm not here to justify combo versus synergies and what's overpowered or not. I'm here to talk about like a drawn out process where it's like 15 turns of this, and it's just like, there's a fine line between that versus like actual long gameplay where you're down to your last card and you're trying to resource manage. I remember watching those fatigue decks and just thinking like, wow, this is so bad. Like, I really hope it doesn't really come back in full force. I think maybe if one exists, that's okay-ish, but personally, I don't want it to like.
We're not in a place where you see that very often these days.
Sure, like it's a novelty thing at this point, but that's kind of like if I can pull an example in StarCraft 2, there was this big camping strategy back in the day that people used to use a unit called the Swarm Host, and would automatically make a unit that just continues to shoot, but it doesn't require you to control it. So you just leave it, and it just creates more units. And people would just literally sit there for 3-hour games. I'm not exaggerating. It's like 3 hours. He just sits there and assaults, and then the person can't really push into it, so he just waits there. And it became this thing where, like, sure, more people watched it, but it was like it was just like so taxing, and people didn't enjoy it. And by then, the players didn't like it, the fans didn't like it, the casters certainly didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I hope it doesn't really get to that point. So I'm
I don't know if this is a fair question to ask Ben Brode, what deck he wants to come back, because you can just make it come back if you want to.
Just do it right now.
Okay. I'm sure he has no oversight.
Undertaker Priest probably is the one that I missed the most. It was like kind of got caught in the Undertaker takedown, and but it wasn't the deck that caused it really. It was the Hunter decks of the time that caused Undertaker to get nerfed, and I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was fair to priests.
Poor priest, I know. They finally thought they had something, and then it just got ripped out from underneath them by the hunters.
It's okay. Priests are coming back. Priests are coming back.
There you go.
Yeah.
Priests got their dragons. Yep, they're good.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about the future of Priest. I'm excited about the present. Some of these Priest decks, I just need to get the cards together.
Yeah, definitely.
I hate to run out of here, but happy 100th episode.
Oh, thank you, Young Woo.
Thanks, Young Woo.
So this is the TAC 100 with Ben Brode, Frodan, Karma, and Yang Woo.
It's
It's official.
on the screen. I don't know if you can fit more. Hey, it looks like a Christmas tree. It's like Mysterious Challenger.
Tack plays Mysterious Challenger.
We popped Ben Brode's secret, and out came Youngwoo. So good. So great.
Well, I want to ask this question, Garrett, if I can interrupt for a second. Because with Frodan here, I think he's going to have a good answer here. The favorite Hearthstone moment. Because you've casted pretty much all the big tournaments at this point. And we've watched them. We've all watched them, and some of us have participated in them. What's your favorite Hearthstone moment so far? And like, we're talking 2+ years now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of like what actually just slayed me was probably the triple Kael'thasot off the Sneeds type thing.
Oh
with the
yeah,
Kit Kats.
Kit Kats. Yeah,
That was just like unreal with how that happened in sequence, and the storyline of just like it happened to the same guy, 3 times in a row type
Yeah.
thing was just like ridiculous. Twice in the same game even. So.
and you guys were actually calling it before it happened too. You're like, "Yo, it'll be
Yeah.
hilarious." Kelvin's
Yeah. That was great. I think in terms of like, I remember a jaw-dropping moment was like watching Amaz come back against RDU at IEM Shenzhen last year with like ridiculous thought steal plays and whatnot. I mean, those are the stories that I'll never forget. As long as I live. Unfortunately, recently it feels like a lot of that has been lost because, for me, the more Hearthstone gets figured out, the less I can genuinely get enthused by things, unless it's like a crazy, ridiculous play, and that's where cards like Unstable Portal, and Burgle is one of my favorite cards actually. It can actually introduce some really interesting stuff, and therefore it's not like I don't like it. It's more like this is something that we should continue to explore and analyze and like have fun with it and more like talk about it. But I remember the first days I casted Hearthstone, I was kind of just like very starry-eyed, like, oh my god, he got this card. And it's like, calm down, Frodan. It's just like a removal piece. I'm like, no, he actually got it at the exact right moment. I was so innocent and young back then, so full of passion. Now I'm just
like, yep, and he drew Fireball for lethal. And
yeah, now I'm just like this
yeah.
salty
Yeah.
bitter, like, I have to smile for the camera, like, nah.
What do we got?
He
Control
drew the
Warrior
second
versus
execute
Control
on
Warrior.
the top 10 cards of this deck, that kind of thing.
So now we know. Anytime it's 2 control decks and it goes to fatigue, we know that you're just trying really hard to keep a straight face on.
Rodan is
I mean,
bored
I'm
at this
human.
point.
I'm human. I get very upset sometimes. A lot of times at myself, but a lot of times I just like, why do I put up with this? I know it's so satisfying, but so it's so you feel so deep into the abyss when you lose because of something like that. But that's part of like what I love and hate about it too. I think it's what gets me coming back every single time because it's like, no, one more game.
That's what Hearthstone does to you. I have never fallen asleep playing a video game until Hearthstone came along, because you just end the game and I just want to click that button, man. Just one more. Let me click that button and play one more game. Yeah. I don't know why Hearthstone does that.
This will be it. This will be the best game ever, and I can go out on it.
I will say the maddest I've ever gotten was on the third day of GVG came out. Unstable Portal was I was playing Druid and I was like rank 2 or something, or rank 1, like very close to Legend. And for me, getting Legend for me is like kind of a struggle. Like a lot of players, they do it very easily, like second day of the month. But for me, like if I get it in the 10th day of the month, I feel like I'm very lucky. Like I'm running very hot because I'm just not very good compared to some of these players, as you can clearly see with my stream with Ben Brode. But getting Legend for me, I try to do it every month. And I remember I was like feeling really good, and I was just trying to do my best. I was climbing with Druid, and I played Druid the Claw. And the Mage, I'll never forget it, drew Unstable Portal off the top. Can you guess what he got? He got Hemet Nessingwares. and he sniped my Druid of the Claw in taunt mode. And I raged. I threw my iPad away. I just went for like a 15-minute run. And I came back and I lost 7 games in a row. And I was so pissed that I just didn't play Hearthstone for like 3 or 4 days. That was the most mad I've ever gotten.
Not even
I was
a
like,
run.
I can't believe I lost to Hemet Nessingwares. Like actually, that was the reason I lost right there.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
You have no
that's
idea.
my most mad moment I've ever been at Hearthstone.
Oh, you just like gave me therapy I don't think you were expecting to give me. You just made so many things that have happened to me with my life in this game. Just I feel so much better now. It's just like, man, if someone who is as calm and collected all the time as Frodan chucked his iPad after, yeah, it's like, all right, maybe I am on an okay track. Maybe I don't need to go seek help.
Yeah, the rage is fine, Garrett. Don't worry, we all rage.
It's a sign of a good game. It means that you actually care about what's going on in the game.
Well, that's true. You want to have interest, like, okay, so a lot of people are talking about how there's too much RNG now or whatever, and this is all over the subreddit. But you mentioned your favorite moment being a moment of RNG, and that's, I think, what people don't realize is that you don't have those moments without some of that stuff, right? And we've talked about it a lot on this show. It's probably not something we need to like get back into, but it's those are the things that you remember. You don't remember when they played Leprechaun turn 1 and shielded mini bot on turn 2 and
What are you talking about, man?
Buster for battle on turn 3. Like, you don't remember that. And like, oh my god, you remember when he curved out perfectly and played exactly like a 1 card a turn and then won the game? And you talk about Kel'Thuzad coming out of Sneeds 3 times,
I think that RNG, although it's hard for competitive people like myself, when you're playing competitively or on ladder, RNG is frustrating. I also think that's crucial for viewers and to draw an audience, just because it adds like that little bit of fun into the tournament play for the viewers. Because when it's happening to you, it's awful, but watching RNG is actually really entertaining, and I love it. So, like, I'm kind of for RNG cards, but I also have the back and forth where I kind of don't want too many as a competitive player. But, I want them. I love watching it in tournaments. I think RNG is the best. Like, the unstable portals are so fun to watch. And, like, the Goblin Blast Mages, what they hit, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That type of thing's really fun to watch. And to me,
I have Sorry, I thought you were.
No, go ahead.
That's really rude to me. I apologize. I have a follow-up question to Ben Brode. If I can just like hop the fence from a guest to more of the panel thing. So what do you when people ask you about like cards that have like good RNG or versus bad RNG, and they usually use examples like, good RNG, for example, are things like like Thought Steal or like other things that you purposefully manipulate to try to make sure it's beneficial for you. Like Knife Juggler can
I think of Knife
be,
Juggler, yeah.
But like you get the idea that you can control the effects a little bit more, like Bomb Lobber, for example. That's like a cool element of it. Versus things like Crackle, where they don't really like the idea that it's just straight up such a high variance of like 3 to 6. How do you answer, or like I guess what's the answer to that kind of question from your perspective when you're designing these cards? Because that's always hard to answer because there's so many opinions on it.
Yeah, I mean, Crackle, I know Garrett specifically has a
Don't-
hate relationship with Crackle.
Yes.
But I agree with you that some, in general, randomness can actually increase the skill, because you have to figure out how to deal with it. How do I position the board in the way that Knife Juggler will give me maximum value, or and things like that. That's actually hard for bad players to get perfectly right. So Crackle specifically, it's not as obviously manipulatable, but also determining when to take the right risk, I think, is really hard. When do I choose to Crackle in a scenario where a bad roll will lose me the game? But I could play it on a safe target. I could play it on a guy who's got 3 health, and I'll definitely kill it. And there's no randomness there when you target a 3 health guy. But do I risk playing it on their Sludge Belcher or the guy who has 6 health? It's really unlikely that I'll hit it. But maybe I have a backup plan. Maybe I have a weapon that I could go into it, take a lot of damage if it doesn't work out. How do you and when do you take big risks in Hearthstone? That's not an easy decision to make. So it does represent some intense skill, I think. It certainly feels the worst when it doesn't go your way, because Knife Juggler, you got to throw a knife at something. Something took a damage. That feels good. Crackle, you just got the bad result, and that feels bad.
Yeah.
So we can make randomness feel better or feel worse. But I do think that both types of randomness do represent some additional. Like it's weird. It's weird to think about it like this, but it adds some additional skill to the game.
No, that's the argument that people make, is that the skill level isn't there, and the esports meme, of course, like anytime something really lucky or unlucky happens. But you make a really solid point that it's look at like a professional poker player who understands when it's right to go all in, even if losing means he's out of the tournament. Because if I don't, I just slowly bleed away and lose all my chips. But if I do and I win, then I'm back in, that kind of a thing. So the Crackle example I think is very, very similar to that, where it's like, hey, if I get a good Crackle, I win. If I get a bad one, I lose. But I would lose if I don't try this type of thing. And you kind of have to really crunch the numbers in your head and decide, like, well, am I definitely going to lose if I don't do this play? And that's very tough when you don't know all the information, right? Which Hearthstone is a game of missing information. So I think your point is sound, and I'm more of a proponent of RNG now after listening to some of you guys' talks on this. Like BlizzCon, I think, last year, right, was the first time you guys kind of came out and you were like, yeah, RNG, we know it, we get it, it's here. Let me talk about why it's okay. Like, this isn't chess, everybody. We're not thinking 20 moves ahead.
All right, cool. I didn't mean to stop you guys.
Oh yeah, by the way, Team
no
5,
worries.
Frodan didn't get the questions we were allowed to ask. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
My
if
bad.
Lindsay or
oh,
someone,
snap. You're totally
I'm ready
right.
to go,
if Lindsay or someone
All
is
right, well,
there,
you know what? No more spontaneous questions from me.
No,
No, that's
I
fine,
love-
man. That's fine.
it's
Honestly, that's a
absolutely
topic
great.
I love talking game design and all of its intricacies and all that stuff. Frodan, you could hit me up. We'll talk anytime about anything.
Yeah, all right, that's right. That's right. I'll email you.
You got the open Brode invitation, dude. That's pretty awesome.
I do have to say, guys, I have to leave in a few minutes. There's a wrap up dinner, but I do want to stay as little bit long as I can. So if there's anything that you want specifically ask me or me to talk about, let's do it.
Absolutely. Actually, I mean, Ben, you're our guest, and I know you brought some questions for the three of us. Is there a question you'd like to ask Frodan before we lose him?
Oh shoot!
Ooh, I like this.
Oh, I forgot. Forgot my list of questions. Here we go. Actually, you guys already asked it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here's another good one. Here's a good one. I got another question for you. So I've been thinking about making some. I don't know if you guys saw my video I made talking about bad cards and
Yes.
Response to prepare.
Why you won't buff
video.
that.
I'm thinking about making some more videos. Are there any topics that you guys think I should make a video about?
Arena. I want to hear where you got, and this was one of the questions we had for you here. But I think out of the three of us, I'm the only one who really plays a lot of Arena, so it doesn't quite come up on this show as much. But it's an interesting thing because it's kind of like the only other way to play right now, right? You've got constructed an Arena, so I'd be curious to hear your guys' take on balancing an Arena and how much you guys think about that. Me personally, but yeah, Frodan's only got a little bit of time. Let's hear what he has to say.
Well, it's more of a.
I'm writing it down.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
He's gonna write this down, so you better say something good.
Oh man, this is kind of serious. I'm put on the spot. It's more like a question I have to think. There's a lot of random small questions that I have about things small. For example, how much does Blizzard truly care about creating new formats, and how will you guys continue to explore that space? The barrier of entry for new players versus old players. That kind of transparency is really big because people always feel like they can't really introduce the game to people. Things like the competitive scene, is it one of those things that Blizzard will ever truly embrace, or is it one of those things where you guys feel like Hearthstone is better set more as casual and fun, which is completely okay if it is. It's just one of those things that people really want to see the identity of it, Things what's up?
I'll give you a preview. I think that first thing you brought up is wildly important, and I think that's a great topic for a video because I think it's one of the biggest issues that we are going to have to deal with, at some point. But yeah, you're in tune, I think, Frodan, with what's important. So
I hope so, man. I hope so. It's actually my job to be in tune. Literally, it's like a quiz, 100-question quiz every week at Twitch, and they see if I'm in tune or not. That's kind of good. And then my last question is, when are we going to do more stuff like the card reveal streams? That was so fun, man. I think we should do more of that in the future. Yeah.
It was awesome. It was a ton of fun for me too. Yeah.
That was great.
It was a cool way to introduce new stuff, you know, because watching Frodan try to figure out what the trap was, and then it was a bear trap, was amazing. Yep, there you go. We got the Brode neck swivel. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That was really fun. That was exceptionally fun to watch because I feel like you did a good job, Fred, and I'm sure it was just natural being the audience surrogate because a lot of us were doing the same thing. Like, oh, what does this card do? What does it do? Like every time a card, I felt like a card it went by too fast. I'm like, no, wait, go back to that. You would be like, wait a second, we need to figure this card out. I'm like, yes, thank you, Frodan. So I really appreciated that.
Ooh, I would like something. Maybe it's not necessarily you, but maybe something someone else can also talk about too in the future. But it's like specifically with the format question is like a reflection on last year's standing versus conquest. And what do you guys really like about it? What you guys really don't like about it? What do you think could be improved? Because I know you guys are always open to feedback about that kind of stuff. So.
Karma throws her hands up. So
Stealing my question, Frodan.
The big question is the way you play Hearthstone is so very like you can do anything you want. It almost changes the entire meta, so to speak, right? Like, what if there is a format where Patron's not even that good? It depends on how things go. So, I know, for example, there was a controversy that Chanman wanted to ban a card for a tournament, and he said publicly that Blizzard asked him not to do that because there's like some nerfs to Leroy and Buzzard, I believe that was the case, and I think it was the case where like Blizzard didn't want any cards to be banned type thing as official stance because they wanted to make sure that the game was in a approachable state. They don't want it to be like, oh, well, this is a removed meta and whatnot. So those are just like interesting talking points that I'd probably bring up in a lunch. You don't need to make like a 30-minute video over it, but it's
written all down.
I remember.
Yeah, like
we
ban
don't want
lists
these
and stuff like
tournaments.
that are really interesting.
Super good questions, Frodan. And
Thanks.
I will try and videoize the answers to all
Nice
of
work,
those
sir.
for you.
Well done.
Frodan
Well,
single-handedly gave you like a year's worth of
I
YouTube
know.
videos to
It's
get to work
looking
on.
for topics to because I feel like those are really good ways to discuss like I don't want to say touchy issues, but issues that are like that are kind of subtle. And maybe we could go either way on them. And a video thing is just a lot more personal than text in a blog or something like that.
Yeah, or a tweet.
Yeah.
You guys do realize when you guys decided to change the format of, and I'm saying you guys, like it might not have been your decision, but when you guys came up with the whole conquest thing for the next BlizzCon championship, you saw what happened. Everybody changed. Like pretty much all of the Hearthstone competitive scene changed with you guys. So that influences everybody else in a big way. So I'd be interested to hear you guys take on that kind of stuff.
If only this podcast was 4 hours, you guys.
Yeah,
I know.
right.
I know, right? I mean, I'm not going anywhere. Don't say stuff like that. I can
I've
just
already
keep.
called in
gotta
sick
go.
to work tomorrow morning.
I
so
can keep this train running.
Josh is like, this bow tie doesn't even come off anymore. It's just
It's welded to my neck.
I'm here for the long haul.
Oh, gee.
Well, I'm glad we got some good stuff while you were able to be here. I know you're super busy, Frodan, so I really appreciate you taking the time to go sneak into your hotel room to come on for. And we were asking people who they wanted on for the show, and a lot of people are saying, well, returning guests, I think, is what we really want. So people who had been on before, and you were at the top of the list. So, dude, thank you so much, man.
Appreciate that. Yeah, and I hope this isn't the last time I make appearances.
Oh no, it's the last time. This is actually the last episode.
It's a moratorium for the last time.
Frodan, I think it's safe to say you're on the list of people who are more than welcome to come on whenever they kind of just feel like it. Just give us a heads up. And,
Hey, you got something you need to announce? We're here.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I thought you were asking if I'm going to announce it.
Oh no. Well, I mean, if you do, go
Announce
ahead.
something
I was
right
like,
now,
I
Frodan.
wasn't really
Now.
planning.
before you leave, if there is anything you would like to promote or anything, though, however, the stage is yours.
I guess the only thing that I would like to promote is I'm actually really interested in talking about stuff. In case you couldn't notice, but the thing specifically is that I really like being very reflective on things. So I started a blog, and it's just frodan.com. I blog about things that I feel like are really pressing on my heart. I wrote about, for example, a rivalry between Archon and Templestone, why I think it's relevant that we pay attention to it, and just kind of embrace that. And it's more of like a representation of how it needs to be widespread, not just between those two teams. I use them as an example. And I have a bunch of other topics. I already wrote like a few hundred words. I just need to explore it more. Like one of them was about how casting can be improved in Hearthstone. Like the goals that I search for and things that I think people aren't really focusing on. I think, for example, I think Cash is focused on too much on being bright. I think analysis
knowing to
is
play perfectly and all that stuff.
yeah. I think analysis in Hearthstone can only go so far. It's kind of like only swimming in the shallow end of the pool, and I think people really miss that you can lose people on like if you're just trying to talk and lead people on and you don't look backwards and see where they are, you just lose them. So I'm going to explore that topic a little bit more about what I think makes a good Hearthstone cast. I wrote about stuff like I feel like players are they're losing their personality amidst everything. How I think tournaments don't necessarily hit the right mark on presenting the player in the correct light. A lot of different things. I also wrote about how my own. I actually wrote a big blog post about my own casting story and what I think was really important to a bunch of stuff. So it ranges from all kinds of things. So go check it out. That's pretty much it. And
Yeah, your first article was really, really good.
It was
Yeah,
awesome.
it was really great.
Oh, thank you, Appreciate that.
So
Everything.
who's the Celtics and who's the Lakers, by the way, in that comparison?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess it's too early to say, but I definitely know that Larry Bird and Reynad both have huge noses. So they share that similarity, and they're both extremely salty when they lose.
Yep.
So,
All right.
All right, thanks guys so much for
Reynad is
having me.
Larry
I gotta
Bird.
go. Ben,
Bye,
much
Frodan.
love, Karma. See you guys
Thanks,
soon.
Frodan.
Have a good
All right,
one,
brother.
Actually,
Frodan.
Ben, I'll be at Blizzard later this week, so let's hang out.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. All right.
I wish
Peace,
you'd have
guys.
said no, Ben, right there. That was hilarious.
Just shut him down.
Actually, I just had a security guard to lock you out. You're not welcome. Bye, guys.
See you,
All right,
Frodan.
dude.
See ya, Frodan.
Oh, that was great. Well, I hope everyone, by the way, is totally cool just rolling with how this show is going, because we tried to plan it, but we knew with this many people it was just kind of gonna be its own monster. So I'm
we have
having a
some
good
stuff
time.
we got to play at some point. And questions
Yeah.
from Brode, and we got a lot of stuff we still haven't
We
even
still
gotten
have so
to.
much.
We do. We absolutely do.
Okay.
Bro, do you mind if we finish up the couple questions we have prepared for you?
That's fine. I have a question for Karma though when you're done, actually.
Oh,
Well,
sure.
let's do that
If you've
first.
got a question for
that
Karma,
Go.
go right
All
ahead.
right.
Karma, I saw you were going to be on the show, so I was doing some research on you, and your
Oh gosh.
your Twitter description claims you are best rapper NA,
Oh,
Oh,
but
Oh,
I was
God.
unable to find any raps by you.
Oh.
Could you give us a demonstration of why you are best rapper NA?
Well, back like a year ago, I used to, for sub goals, I used to do rap battles on stream with other people. And we would do, like, I would rap Eminem songs, like we would do the Rap God song that I would do, and I would do it off stream and like practice the rapping and stuff like that so that I wouldn't miss beats and I would get it like perfectly. So I just like practiced rapping, and I did that a long time ago. It's been a while, and I didn't realize I still had that on my
Oh,
Twitter
no.
handle. So thank you
I
for
was like,
letting
this
me
is
know.
something. This must be very important to you. It's like the number one thing on your Twitter. It's like,
Oh,
bet
God.
like, I'm just a rapper. That's me. You don't know.
Oh no,
Oh,
no,
man.
no.
Karma
We're
being
not
the best
rapping
guy.
tomorrow, are we?
Yeah, and now I do duets. Jocelyn and I are doing a duet.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, I saw
So
your
wait,
Trump
we got to
duet.
promote this, right? So Karma
Uh.
Jocelyn duet on your stream tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is that right?
hold on a second. If Eminem
Yeah.
is involved, I would love to be a part of this.
Oh, you guys want to go in? I will gladly have all of you. Brode, Dills, Jared, any of you guys, I will set up a sub goal for all of you. We can all
Oh
do
my
a duet
God.
together.
Oh,
If
bring
you're in,
it.
I'm in. I'm not worried about my vocal performance. I don't know about you
Mine
guys.
is going to be
I'm pretty
awful.
confident in mine.
Terrible, awful, horrible, terrible.
Joss, I think you'll do perfectly fine.
No, no.
I mean, I could like play
It's gonna be
ukulele
4
or
minutes
something.
of my life
but-
that I am just giving you, Karma, because I love you that much.
Oh God. All right, well, everybody tune into that for some realistic moments
or
tomorrow.
don't,
I'm
or
excited.
don't. That's fine too.
Jocelyn's like, I wish that hadn't
I'm
been brought up.
blushing
I was
and, like,
hoping nobody would
already.
be there.
Oh, now I want Ben. I just want you to bust it out. Just some sick freestyle.
I am a rapper, but I don't
Oh.
freestyle. I have to.
I will rap battle you like 10 minutes. I'll do it.
You just need
You have
some
no
time to
chance.
prepare.
Come on.
Okay.
Oh, he's
Okay,
buttoning up the
if we
jacket.
have time to prepare, I'll do it. I'm down.
Oh, man.
Do some Eminem rap battle, and then everyone can vote on who did better.
Oh,
We can all take each other on.
This is not good for your ego. I worry.
that was so
Oh
good.
man.
He's already throwing shots.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's shooting me down already. We'll see who's laughing at the end, bro. We'll see.
All right.
Oh.
I'm really excited to see what happens on Twitter after this show is done.
Shots have been fired.
Scheduled. I will be there.
I wish I had the guitar riff to Lose Yourself queued up. I would start playing it right now, just for how much smack is being talked. So good.
Oh man, that would be awesome.
Ben, were you aware how great this was going to go or how much this would escalate when you asked that question? So to segue with a hard right, back to some of the questions we were going to hit you up with earlier, Ben. And actually, I guess Frodan kind of touched on some of these for you to do a reaction video. We're going to make you react to us right here and now.
Sure.
Yeah, Jocelyn, fire away.
Yeah, so Frodan actually, he mentioned really quickly just the idea of all the new content that you guys have been introducing. We've got, 2 adventures, 2 expansions, plus all the vanilla. Like, how do you go about balancing that new player experience with the experience of everybody who's like us, who's been in since, closed beta, playing 2 years, mostly full collections, or at least we have whatever we want and need. How do you actually look at those 2 groups of people and give them a cohesive experience?
I'll tell you, it's challenging and wildly important to us. We have a designer on Hearthstone who is the new player experience designer. It's actually Hayrim Young's sister, who used to work on World of Warcraft.
Oh, cool.
And we do huge tests with lots of people going through the tutorial over and over again, watching the post-tutorial experience is what we call it, as trying to get into Hearthstone. There's things that are kind of shocking as we go through those tests. One of the things is that a lot of players don't ever realize that there is a thing called adventures. We don't expose it very well. Something that's even more shocking is that some huge percentage of players who get through the tutorial don't end up understanding taunt. So, and we make changes like we are changing the error message for taunt. So instead of I must attack the minion with taunt, which a lot of players construe to mean I need to use taunt somehow to attack. To a minion with taunt is in the way. So hopefully that makes it more clear that you need to do something about the minion with taunt. And those are the, like, on a very micro scale, make a huge difference on the number of players who end up, when they decide, is Hearthstone for me? I'm interested, I'll give it a try. Should I continue playing? There's lots of things in the way. Just recently, there was a change we made to the AI that made Hemet Nessingwary slightly more difficult. And we were like, something like thousands of players were suddenly, we call it churning when they decide to stop playing, churning out during the Hemet Nessingwary mission. And so we made a change where now you're unable to, if you lose once, the second time through, you must polymorph the Fen Creeper, because that was a thing that players were not necessarily doing. And that made just a massive difference in the amount of players who then go on to become Hearthstone players. So that's all to say that we care so much about the new player experience that we're dedicating massive amounts of time to getting it just right. And then also the post-tutorial experience beyond that, we look at all that. When people first get in to build a deck, that's a moment where a lot of people look at what they're how do you build a deck from scratch? What do you even start with? That's a moment where some people get overwhelmed. And there beyond that, like once you've decided that Hearthstone is fun and you want to play, and then you discover that there are many expansions and adventures to purchase with real money, or you have to grind gold to get them. But there's so many now; it's not the same as when there was just the classic set and the basic set, right? There's just a lot more to get. And you only need 30 cards to build a deck, but it's definitely a bigger kind of in your mind, like a wall to becoming the kind of player you want to be. So I think that's really important for us to look at, but also just for current players who are playing a lot of Hearthstone, who are already they're already like, yeah, Hearthstone's a game I want to play. They don't have to. They're not deciding if it's the kind of game they want to get into. Just there's a lot of scariness with continuing to release expansions because either the cards we release in expansions are not good enough, they don't change the meta, and the meta doesn't change at all, or we do make them good, we make them awesome, and they change the meta, and it's really exciting. But in order to do that, we have to make cards you actually want to put in your decks, and that means that some cards that you used to have in your decks are getting taken out, and you're putting new ones in. And that's what a lot of people call power creep, when the cards just get better and better over time. Because if there isn't that, then the cards we release just don't replace and nothing changes. We release an expansion, it's as if we didn't, because the decks are all still the same. And that's a tough problem. Both of those issues, the hey, Hearthstone seems kind of daunting, and hey, either we don't release exciting content that the meta never changes, or the power creeps up steadily over time. Those are huge issues for the future of the game, and we really need to address those to keep the game healthy. So mostly I'm just saying that that's a really good question to be asking, and we are talking about that and what we can do about those things constantly on the team, trying to find good solutions to that. So that's something that we are working on.
Awesome. All right, so I'm now going to be the guy who apparently appeases the Twitch chat again, because I brought up the rogue thing earlier. But so I was talking to a couple of guys who play pretty much nothing but Arena, and there's a huge, they call themselves the Arena community, and they're out there, and people who just don't ever play Constructed, all they do is play Arena. And some of those people have recently felt that their needs are not being met, right? Because Warrior's always been bad in Arena, and is still bad even with the new cards. So I was just, I wanted to ask you, how do you guys consider Arena when you're adding new cards? Because I think one of the main ways to kind of balance Arena is card rarity, obviously, because a common card, to make an Arena class better, it has to have good commons, because those are the ones they're going to get more often, right? So how often do those considerations go in, and how big is your Arena kind of side of your operation? And when you guys are all talking balance, how much is Arena brought up as compared to Constructed? Is there a balance there?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it a lot, and actually we made a huge change to the Arena for the Grand Tournament, because we always talk about ways we can make Arena more fun, and one of the ways that we felt like would make a big difference is when new content comes out, we want it to appear more often in the Arena, right? Before, when we released Naxxramas or Goblins vs. Gnomes, that they represent a huge percentage of additional content. But now we have several expansions, several adventures, and so releasing the Grand Tournament represents a smaller percentage of additional content, and so you see those cards less frequently than you did when we launched GVG. So for the Grand Tournament, we increased the drop rate of the newest stuff, so that it makes a bigger difference on the Arena play, so that Arena will feel hopefully more different every time we release new content.
It'll feel fresher, essentially. Yeah,
right. Yeah. So that's the kind of change we make, because we play like a ton of Arena and we care so much about it. And the rarity thing, it's a really good way to balance classes in the Arena, but it's also a tool that we use to manage complexity when you're buying packs of cards. So we often skew the the rarity towards higher complexity cards. If Astral Communion was common, first of all, that would be crazy for Arena. It'd be bizarre. But also, you want those epics and rares and legendaries to shoulder most of the complexity weight of a set. You don't want every card to have 6 lines of text on them. It means opening a pack and playing the Arena gets less fun, I think. So we use those rarities for more than just the Arena, but Arena is the biggest component to us deciding those things. And to be honest, one of the biggest problems with Warrior in Arena is that their hero power is the worst in Arena. It has the least impact on the board, and Mage has a lot of impact on the board. Their hero power is really good in the Arena, and that's a big part of what makes them so good in the Arena. So it's tough. We care a lot. I think we could be making better Warrior commons and stuff, and we'll continue to do that, but we definitely care a ton about Arena, and we're continuing to make changes to make it more fun over time.
Yeah. Okay, that's good, because I play both. I when I started out, I would consider myself the arena. Like that was what I did. I just grinded arena all the time, and in a lot of ways, like the arena community doesn't even really care about the rewards because they never use them, right? They just.
Well, I think that's a real tragedy, to be honest. I would love for your collection to matter more in the arena. If you own golden cards.
Golden cards.
And they show up in the arena. I think that would be awesome.
We hear that suggestion all the time.
Golden heroes do show up
earning
now,
golden
right?
hero. Well, but
They
earning
do?
them through
No, but
arena
earning
play.
them, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason that you earn them through ranked is that we want arena players right now to care about ranked, because otherwise you just do not care about rewards at all. They're useless because you just play arena. And giving you some use for your sweet packs and good cards at the end of the arena run to use them in ranked mode and get golden heroes it helps make you more excited to win in the arena because you got something you care about. So it's a touchy balance, but
I think a lot of players use arena to supplement their collections, right? And then they just head back to ranked. So I think Jocelyn and Gary, you guys will probably fall into that category a little more than me. Like where arena to you is it's a means to an end, right? It's a way to collect cards. And then there's people who skew 100% on the other side. And then there's I think I'm somewhere in the middle where I just I get a little bit tired of playing ranked and whatever. And then I'm just like, sweet, let's queue up an arena and go. But all those players all have a different kind of stake in the balance of both things. So, I mean, I don't envy your position, but I just want to make sure all of those players get their kind of voice heard, right? People from all points of the spectrum.
And we have players on the team who are exclusively arena players and players who are exclusively ranked players, and we're very represented on the team and the design team by different types of players.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Awesome. I feel satisfied. I hope the Arena Warriors Matter people also do. Yeah.
Some of the people, they were so persistent. I feel like unless Ben Brode said anything other than, well, they're getting 5 new cards tomorrow and they're going to be amazing in Break Arena for Warrior. I think that's about the only thing that would make those specific people happy.
It's a good point.
But I always crack up watching the chat during interviews because people are throwing in these questions just we can't ask it. We're just not going to get an answer. So why would we waste time asking that question?
What's the name of the next set?
Yeah, well, exactly. It's
and tell us what the next mechanic will be.
and obviously, folks, in the chat room, of course we're interested. It's something that we've mentioned on the show a million times. Of course we're interested in tournament mode. I will go to my death wishing that I could play a friend in arena so that I could secretly actually do arena tournaments. That's the real reason I want that. But I don't know. I'm not going to ask you about that, Ben, because
we have things that we really want to do, and we want to announce the things at the right time. Also, once we know what those even are, right? There's lots of design for lots of things on our list, and we can't just announce anything as soon as anyone asks whether or not we are thinking about it. So.
Exactly.
Are you sure you can't? Is someone standing there telling you can't?
What if I asked really nicely?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm Canadian, so please.
Yeah. So sorry for breaking the fourth wall there on how interviews are conducted, but there's just a certain point where it's just well, this question I'm just not going to bother asking because I know 100% I'm not getting an answer for it, and it's just wasted time. But honestly, it's one of the things, if I can just compliment you for a second and then get tweets from folks saying, oh, you're in Blizzard's back pocket. I think Team 5 has kind of ushered in this kind of new age of Blizzard outreach. Coming from being a WoW and a StarCraft 2 fan, it seemed like those teams were pretty much kind of boxed off, and they only came out with a decree when they had something to announce. And I feel like once Hearthstone came out, you guys were a smaller team. You were really good at kind of peeling back the curtain and being hey, this is what we're working on. It's not 100%, but this is what we're kind of thinking. Also, you're the first in the history of Blizzard to announce an expansion and to come out a month later.
I'll tell you though, I learned everything about interacting with people on Twitter and other things like that from watching developers on the World of Warcraft team do that, and I learned a lot from them. So I don't know if you're giving them enough credit, but
the World of Warcraft team I think has
better,
been different. Yeah. Well, Ghostcrawler was famous for being the guy who just said whatever he wanted to say whenever he wanted to say it, and You guys have really kind of, I think, taken that and expanded on that, though. Like, really kind of broadened the, like you showed up with a chicken mask and a suit to our podcast episode here. You guys are down with the community.
It's episode
Right.
100.
Yeah.
How could he not?
Dress up, Dills. Come on.
Ah,
Yeah.
it's all right. I'll take the heat. It's okay.
Jeez, Dills.
I'm a stupid neat dude hat on. Well, it's not stupid. I love this hat. Yeah. It ain't no bow tie.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. That's the end of our formal questions. So I'm going to finally do what we were originally planning to do and play a surprise video from our friends at Team 5.
Hey.
Garrett, Jocelyn, and Dills, congratulations on the huge milestone that is 100 episodes. The team made a little video to show you how much your podcast means to us.
Congratulations, guys. 100 episodes. That's awesome.
Hi, Angry Chicken. Happy 100th episode.
Congratulations on 100 episodes. Keep it up, guys.
Hey, guys. Congratulations. We really appreciate all the hard work you're doing, and so does the community.
Angry Chicken. So pitted.
Hey guys, this is Jeremy Cranford. Congratulations on 100 episodes. We went ahead and named one of our meeting rooms Angry Chicken in your honor.
Nerds.
Happy 100th birthday. I didn't even realize podcasts were around 100 years ago. Weren't people riding on trains and stuff? It is 100 years, right? Yeah.
Thank you for making the great podcast. Congratulations on the 100 episodes.
So I originally accepted this position in the hopes that I would appear on a famous podcast one day, and so now my dreams are a reality.
Hi, I'm Eric. I'm a producer on Hearthstone. I wanted to say congratulations on your 100th episode.
Greetings, Mother Cluckers. This is the Angry Chicken. I'm Bob Fitch, and I just wanted to thank you for 100 episodes. Awesome job.
Congratulations on 100th episode.
Who am I talking to again? Hey, what's up, you guys at the Angry Chicken? Congratulations on your 100th episode. Awesome podcast. We love it. Keep up the good work.
Hey guys at the Angry Chicken and everywhere else. I've enjoyed your podcast for a long time. Congratulations on your 100th episode. My name is Mike Donay. Goodbye.
Congratulations on the 100th episode of the podcast. You guys are doing a great job. Remember to stay at full health.
Perfect.
앵그리 치킨의 100번째 에피소드를 축하합니다. 하트스톤이 전 세계에서 재밌게 플레이되고 있는데 앵그리 치킨이 정말 좋은 역할을 해주고 있다고 믿습니다. 축하합니다.
Hey, thanks for the great podcast.
Congratulations, guys.
Awesome job, guys.
Hey, keep doing what you're doing, guys. 100 episodes, that's awesome.
All right, Angry Chicken, for your 100th episode, I am going to do 100 push-ups.
Billy Young. 1, 2, 3.
Hey guys, Angry Chicken. Congrats on your 100 episodes. Well done. Have another 100.
37, 38, 39.
Hey, Angry Chickens, congrats on 100 awesome episodes.
Hey, congratulations on 100 episodes. You guys are awesome.
69, 70.
Happy 100th episode from the other Ben on the Hearthstone team.
99, 100.
All right, try not to make another 100 episodes, because I have to do 200 push-ups next time.
Hey, Angry Chicken. Why is your chicken so angry? You should give it a hug every once in a while. It would probably feel a little better, but show it you love it. We certainly love your podcast. Congratulations.
Keep being awesome, and we look forward to seeing many more episodes. Thank you.
Oh, that was so special. I did not know Yang Wu was such a strong man.
Oh yeah, he's a
young lad.
Push-up sound.
I really enjoyed the that you included push-up number 69 in there, Kappa. That was great.
So good.
Upset if you went. Oh man, I really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you
Not
guys.
crying, so not crying. Screw you guys.
Who's chopping onions in here?
If it makes you feel better, Jocelyn, I got a little choked up too because I had to watch that ahead of time to see where the heck we were gonna put it, and I was asked to not show you guys before we went live. So, yeah.
Thanks. Thanks.
You're welcome. Enjoy.
Now, can you send it to me so I can watch it without cracking up and stuff and
Oh, absolutely.
All right, good.
It'll be in the Dropbox tomorrow for you, Dills.
I gotta
You can put it on repeat on a projector above your bed and just like every night fall asleep to it. Fall asleep to Youngwoo doing push-ups.
The fact is, though, you guys do not have to thank us. We have to thank you guys because you guys made my favorite game. And that was hard to do because I used to play this game. Well, I still do play this game called World of Warcraft, which is really, really good. So to take my attention away from that was going to be tough. And yeah, like I said, never played a game I fell asleep to before, and Hearthstone was the first one. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah, that killed me. So
I
Ben,
think Jocelyn's done. I don't think she can.
I don't even have I think I need a minute. I'm probably a mascara all over my face.
You're good, Joss. You're good.
Hashtag.
Keep wiping, but you're good.
Yeah. You should have told me to bring Kleenex.
Jeez. So
Thought
Ben.
we got all like the emo stuff out of the way in Skype chat earlier today.
Oh, dude, can't talk about that. People aren't supposed to know what we talk about in private. We're all giving each other internet hugs and crap.
Sorry. Okay, I'm good.
So, Ben, did you want to ask the rest of your interview questions that you didn't get to ask when Frodan was on?
No, I asked my important questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we got through most of that stuff. Yeah.
Good.
Like all this stuff just kind of happened naturally throughout the course of us just kind of chatting it up about Hearthstone. But dude, I'm so happy that you guys were able to come on this episode. Like Karma's been one of the guests that's been requested a ton by the people, and she and Jocelyn did the ladies' night episode, which was fantastic when me and Garrett both couldn't be there. And there was even people who were like, Karma should be the 4th Angry Chicken host.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not a bad idea. Karma is awesome. Karma is awesome. Thank you for being here too, Karma.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it every time. You guys are the best. You're all supporters of me. I appreciate it a lot. And I love you all. Congrats on 100 episodes. And
we're getting a video from Karma right now. Sweet.
Yeah, 100 more.
I'll say this about Karma. If you don't go to Karma's stream, you definitely should. She is my one and only Twitch sub. I do not sub to anybody else.
Oh, wow.
So
that's a lot of pressure.
A lot of it has to do with I can really only justify like $5 to Twitch total. So I choose one, and it's Karma.
Money spent well.
Yeah, money well spent. I get my car H emote. It's awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. Karma, I guess before we let the guests go, Karma, where can folks find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/Karma, KARMAAH. You can follow me on Twitter at KarmaTV. It's KARMAHTV. And I tweet everything out about my social, where you can find me and all that stuff on there. So if you just follow me on Twitter, you'll find all the information that you need there. Yeah, I'm pretty easy to find. Exactly. Yeah. Or you can search for rap videos, but according to Ben, there will not be any.
I cannot wait for this rap battle to go down. Oh my god.
I'm trying so hard not to start singing Eminem's "Kill You" because it would be really inappropriate. Really inappropriate. You try so hard to keep this show PG-13, it would just rocket to like an X rating really fast.
Yeah, and then sometimes I make inappropriate jokes. It happens.
Yeah, like.
But that the one that lived probably had like a bigger.
Le dick.
Nicely done.
Wow.
Thank you
for that. It's not quite
Dills.
a so hot or a hype or a cluck, but that's all right. It's pretty good. It's finally got me.
And Ben, how about you? First of all, man, thank you so much. Thank you for calling in from the Team 5 pit.
Yeah, this is it. I mean, it goes on. There's like a lot more over there and a lot more over there, but this is I'm somewhat centrally located here.
And it's a beautiful representation of just how badass your appearance has been. Everyone else is gone. You're it.
Not everyone.
Oh, okay.
We got a couple people making sure I don't say anything really dumb that are.
I'm gonna guess, is that Lindsay and
oh
the chicken comes back.
Yeah.
Was Soraya there?
Dancing chicken.
Wow. Poor audio
just happened.
listeners right now.
Why? This should just be. This is what BlizzCon should be. It should just, random, unplanned antics by Blizzard employees.
For anybody who listens
great.
to this show audio only, I encourage you, go find the YouTube version of this one. There's some stuff that you need to see.
YouTube.com/AMoveTV if ever there was a time to make sure you catch the
It's
video.
too bad your workplace isn't fun, Ben. You know, if only you guys could enjoy what you do, that would make it so much better.
The Angry Chicken will end when all of us get jobs over there because you made it look so damn fun. That's when the show will end. Jeez. Well, Ben, where can folks find you? On the Twitters?
I'm on Twitter at BD Brode, and I'm reading everything you post everywhere. So I'll find you mostly.
Yeah.
Don't find
He's
Ben.
watching you.
Ben
You don't
will
need to
find
find
you.
him.
Oh, that's just wonderful.
But everyone should follow BD Brode because you do. You actually answer questions. People tweet at you, and you're very forthcoming about how you feel about things. And even when people like to troll a little bit, and you do a great job, dude.
I don't answer all the questions, but I am reading everything, and it's helping us make better informed decisions. So even if I can't say answer your very question that you're leading me on with, maybe about something you want me to say on Twitter, I'm definitely reading your feedback, and I care a lot about that. So that's important.
Awesome.
So great. Well, thank you both so much. Thank you, Karma. Thank you, Ben. Thanks to Frodan, who's off eating dinner, I guess. But we're gonna let you guys go. We're still gonna take a couple things from our listeners, but we won't make you guys sit through that.
Right. We got a lot out of you guys, and we appreciate your time. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Have
so
a good
much.
night,
Bye,
guys.
everyone. Bye, Ben.
Bye.
Bye, Bills. Bye,
Congrats on
Josh.
100.
See you, Garrett.
See ya.
Congrats again.
Thanks.
Karma boys.
And I'm not going to bother trying to fix the overlay because it would just explode at this point. So
yeah, screw it.
This is how we're going to look.
2 hours in.
And we've had a really good time tonight, and we've had some awesome guests. But it obviously would not be a complete 100th episode if we didn't get to hear from our listeners.
Yes.
Because you guys are the entire reason we keep doing this. There's two reasons. One, Hearthstone is still fun to play. And two, people actually listen. Otherwise, this would be creepy. We would just be talking into microphones and recording.
Which I have done before. I've done podcasts that nobody listened to. It's not the same.
I'm pretty sure
you
that's
gotta have the back and forth.
I'm pretty sure that's called anyone's first podcast.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But
regardless.
I mean, I think I tweeted this or something, or no, it was on the Reddit because our Hearthstone guys were really awesome and actually stickied the post about this episode on the front page there. So that was really nice of them. But and I said this on that, I commented on there that this show is not the same without all the people who listen to it, because that's really what makes it. Like you said, Garrett, we'd just be talking into microphones and no one would care. But you guys talk back to us, and that's really important. So we really, really appreciate everybody.
Yeah,
a lot.
Absolutely. Jocelyn, you're not done crying. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Man,
So
I listened to some, but I don't know what you put in the compilation. So
So we asked for calls.
I'm guessing a lot of Joss love. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
We asked for calls. You guys definitely obliged, and there were so many. We had to make a supercut. So without further ado, here it is: the listeners of the Angry Chicken.
Greetings and well met.
Hello, the Angry Chicken.
To the one and only Jocelyn, Willie Dills, and of course my man Garrett.
Hello, Furious Fowls.
Hey, Angry Chicken.
Hey, TNC crew.
This is your tallest fan, Clark.
My name's Gordon, all the way from Singapore.
It's Nate. My name's Chase.
This is Buckeye Fitzy.
It's David, aka Hearthstone Power.
I'm Eve from Canada.
It's the Internet Godfather.
Just wanted to wish you a congratulations on 100 episodes of The Angry Chicken.
Just want to let you guys know how great you are and thank you for everything you've done for the Hearthstone community.
Congratulations on meeting this amazing milestone.
When you guys came around, it was basically instant love. You had all of the information and excitement and even more importantly, fun.
I listen to it every single Tuesday night and I fall asleep to it. It's not that you're boring or anything.
From Dills, I've explored the technical aspects of Hearthstone and strive to build the better deck.
I'm proud to say I've met you and consider you guys friends.
Thank you for making my long commute better every week with some Hearthstone.
From Jocelyn, I was encouraged to grind the ladder and seek the ever out of reach coveted legend moniker.
Hi guys, I love the Angry Chicken.
Please continue to explain those Hearthstone short terms and phrases that new Hearthstone players might not understand.
And lastly, but not leastly, from Garrett, I have embraced my inner host and begun to build my own podcast.
I cannot wait to buy you guys all shots this year at BlizzCon.
I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to run in and ask a Goldshire Footman question at Nerdtacular.
You some badass mother cluckers.
Long live the Angry Chicken.
May we forever bear unicorns upon our shirts.
See you soon.
Oh my god, guys. I made that and I'm getting misty-eyed.
That was amazing.
Well done, everybody. I mean, we asked for submissions. I didn't think we were going to get this many.
And that's still not all of them. There were so many. And we got...
And there were lots that came in today, too.
Yeah, during the show, I was seeing the inbox fill up with a bunch of calls. I'm just like, I'm sorry. We're doing the show.
But we will listen to, I mean, I've listened to all of them like in their entirety so far that I've had access to. And many Bible thumps were had as I did. Oh, my God. You guys are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this is, damn it, I said I wasn't going to get mushy on the show. I think I don't know. Well, Dills, you're on the instance, which is ridiculously huge. But I still think for the three of us, I mean, for me, definitely, this is the most successful thing I've ever been a part of. And I absolutely 100%. All about the listeners. Thank you guys so much for tuning in week after week, for sending your emails, whether they be good or bad. Every single time someone
I read them all.
Yeah.
Every single email that comes in, I read, just so you guys know.
Every single time someone calls or writes in, it's just like, let me tell you, Garrett, why you're so wrong about Crackle or whatever. It's great. I'm so happy that anyone gives enough of a crap to disagree with me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, even the people who like leave the 1 stars and are clearly hate us, it's like we get emotion out of this guy, so we're doing something right. It's fine. It's fine to hate us. It's fine to love us. It's whatever. But the fact that people give a cluck is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I do the instance, but the instance was built before I got there. I came in when it was already an established show, so it's not the same as what we did here, which is take a show from episode 1 and from it not being a thing that existed at all, crafting the intro and crafting the bumpers and figuring out what segments we were going to do and all of the like work that kind of came into that and the collaboration over time. And to see what it's kind of become at this point is it's crazy. I mean, I don't think any of us saw it coming this way, but I'm so happy it worked out the way it did.
No, absolutely.
And I think it's pretty amazing too that, I mean, all 3 of us, we've grown so much within the show and we're still doing it all together. We haven't had any host turnover, nothing else. Like, I mean, you guys are just, you're family, man. Both of you dudes, like, I stopped crying. I'm not crying again, but I think it's amazing what we've built here. And I'm really proud of us.
Just look at the unicorn on your shirt.
Yay, unicorn shirt.
Just look at it and everything will be okay, Jocelyn.
Oh, everything is okay. Everything is just beyond okay right now. And I think it's just so emotional. I've never had a show do this to me before.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've had 100th episodes before, but there's this. Yeah. I mean, everyone just came out for this one. Like when we got the email from Ben Brode being like, "Hey guys, is it cool if I hang out for the whole episode?" We're just like,
we expected like 20 minutes, 30 minutes of Brode, right? And we got much more than that.
We got all the Brode.
Yeah.
And
we're not done. That's I think the other thing too.
Oh,
it's like,
God, no.
We're just getting started. So
no, we're gonna be back. We're gonna be back next week with a normal show with like actual segments and not just run-on ramblings. We're all
Kriparian.
And Crip.
Whoa, hold on. We forgot. We never even did this. We were supposed to like make the big announcement. Next week's guest is Kriparian.
Yeah,
we got a little caught up.
So,
sorry,
Jocelyn. You're unfortunately gonna be traveling next week, right?
I am, but you actually will get some Jocelyn Hearthstone content because I'm actually guesting on Sunday night on Well Met, the Blues Pro Hearthstone podcast.
Oh, so dope. Okay.
Yeah, there will be some Jocelyn Hearthstone podcasting goodness. Just unfortunately, I can't make Angry Chicken because I'll be literally on a plane back to Halifax.
Gotcha. So next week, Jocelyn on Well Met, but Kriparian on this show, The Angry Chicken, for episode 102. We're doing our patron hangout tomorrow, which is episode 101. But next Monday, are we doing it an hour early, Dills?
Yes. Oh, that's right. We should also mention that. So Kriparian starts his stream pretty much right around when our show normally ends. So we're starting an hour early so that doesn't get screwed up for him. So rather than the 7 p.m. Pacific time, it'll be at 6 next week.
Yep.
And we'll hear a lot more arena talk, I'm sure, as he's known as one of the top arena players and someone who just played almost exclusively arena. But he also just recently hit Legend for the first time. So it'll be interesting to get his take on transitioning to that as well. What might have prompted him to do this.
I was playing a lot of his Hunter deck too, right after TGT launched. I've since changed it up to the more kind of popular Beast Hunter that's going around right now, running bear traps and whatnot. But I did log quite a few games with the one that he was running.
So it wasn't bad. I mean, it got the job done. It was just it relied a little too much on Ram Wrangler, which is
yeah, exactly.
Which is hard to say, so therefore does not belong in a deck.
Okay, casters around the globe are just like, really? This is a card, and it's also going to get played, so we're going to have to pronounce it. Thanks, Blizzard. Thank you so much.
So next week there won't be any crying. We will just.
I don't know, man. I get pretty emotional when talking about arena.
Yeah, when we start talking about arena, Bible thump. So it's going to be back to, we're going to start. We didn't get like a real chance to delve into the Pally Secrets deck and all that kind of stuff. We touched on some of that, but we'll be back to normal essentially next week and tomorrow as well. We'll be kind of back to normal. So patrons, get in there, get back to. This was a fun little break in the kind of what we've been doing for so long, but we're going to get back to what we do, and we're going to do it for another 100. And then we're done. Episode 200.
200. That will be the last. Our days are numbered. 2 more years of the Angry Chicken, and then it's over. Okay. After that, we're just gonna go out. We're just gonna pull a Stephen Colbert and go start hosting late night shows.
We're all gonna have gray beards by that point.
Yeah.
Even Jocelyn.
Even me.
We're moving. It'll be October soon. You can go find some fake beard hair.
It's Canada. There's plenty of extra beards around. I'm sure.
Oh, that's a good point. It's a really good point. Before we end the show, I do want to mention, everyone, we are doing a giveaway since it is the 100th episode. So I can't really. I'm afraid to unpackage it, but there'll be a post up on the Patreon. Patrons, we're giving away a Hearthstone coffee mug and a bottle opener over on the Patreon. All you have to do is comment in the post for the 100th episode. Obviously, it is not up right now if you were listening live, but it will be once the podcast is posted. These were given to us by listener Steven, so thank you so much for that. And we're also going to give away 2 bottle openers and a keychain over on our subreddit. There'll be a post up tomorrow once the podcast goes up over on tacpodcast.reddit.com, where you can win one. These I can show you, because they're packed. This is one of the bottle openers. Got our logo.
2-hour episodes and Ben Brode, Frodan, and Karma wasn't enough. Free swag!
Free swag! I had to buy mine, okay? I bought some of my own. We're giving these away, and they're great. And I just found out these are magnets, too. They'll go right on your fridge, which I found out by accident by laying one on top of the other, and they repelled and shot across my desk. It was delightful. So yeah, TAC Podcast Reddit, go check out our Patreon and enter those contests. With that in mind, guys, man, I think that's gonna do it for this episode.
We did it.
So why treat the outro any different? Gotta thank our patrons. You are one of our listeners. You were wrapped up in that thank for our listeners, but thank you, patrons, because we can put so much more time into this show now than we ever were able to when we first started it, and it's solely because of you guys. So thank you for the support. If you're interested in becoming a patron for the Angry Chicken, head on over to patreon.com/TAC. This week we wanted to thank Keith, John P, Chris VP, Jared O, and Lauren C. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. We really do appreciate it. We also love those 5-star reviews. And this week, it just happened. I'm going in order. There were a lot of funny ones this week, so strap in. Thank you for the iTunes reviews to Eshwanky, who said better than Magma Rager, Goldshire Footman, and Eye for an Eye combined.
Wow. Those are some terrible cards.
Yeah. Somehow it was a 5-star review.
Better than all three of those combined. That's all right.
Yeah. Thank you to Sky Zion. Sneed's old podcaster wrote, "I've got unicorns in my review."
Wow.
T Mage 1 said the Angry Chicken is so exciting that it will undoubtedly cast an engorgement spell on your trouser totem.
Engorgement spell.
Yeah.
What?
Not familiar with that card, but all right.
And finally, Quiet Song wrote, "Like a shredder that spits out Millhouse Manastorm, it's a great combo of value and hilarity." So thank you guys for your iTunes reviews. We really do appreciate them. Keep them coming. The Angry Chicken is a production of amove.tv and frogpants.com. All of our past live shows and other videos can be found on youtube.com/amovetv. Get our t-shirt over on slashloot.com. Follow us on Twitter at TAC Podcast, on Facebook at facebook.com/amovetv, and on Reddit at tacpodcast.reddit.com. We are live Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, except for next week where you can catch us at 9 p.m. Eastern, since Kriparian will be joining us right here on twitch.tv/amovetv. Our mobile live stream is provided by alphageekradio.com. And a big fat thank you to Brian Griffith for our intro music, which has been introducing and exiting this show for over 100 episodes now. You can check out his work over at briangriffithmusic.com. Dills, where can folks find you?
I also want to say that we now have... sorry, never mind. Screw that. I'm just going to tell you guys where to find me. We'll do this next show. Follow me on Twitter at Willie Dills. Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/WillieDillsSF, streaming a lot of Hearthstone. Did some Diablo last night for a little while. Got power ranked up to 70 so I can get my sweet mountain heroes. And I do some of that too on that stream as well. So if you like any of those games, you can check that out. The Instance is the World of Warcraft podcast I do. It's on Friday mornings. You can also find that on iTunes and all that. And Torchcast, which I'm missing tonight because, we're doing this. So this is going to go long. So that's a podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. So, if you are a fan of that team specifically, you will like it. If not, then you will hate it. And then, of course, MGAtour.com. It's the Mediocre Golf Association, which I'm co-founder of. We are in the end of the season, so you can't really join up now, but you can find out what it is and check it out. And if you like it, then you can join next season. So there you go. And yes, I did just pull a Johnson. Sorry. I will,
I thought maybe you were looking up
unpull that Johnson next time.
I thought you were looking up how many patrons we had, which is actually a milestone. We're over 500 patrons now.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So.
Oh, we should mention those. Scott Fletcher is now the announcer in our intro.
Yeah.
We should probably mention that.
Instead of
we should
you
put
with
that in the outro here at some point.
Yeah. Instead of you with a bunch of voice effects.
Yeah. Instead of me, a podcast about Hearthstone. My terrible announcer voice.
I can't remember.
It was amazing. It was 99 episodes of awesome. Come on.
I can't remember who I told that story to at Nerdtacular, but somebody came up during one of the meet and greets and was talking to me about the intro, and I'm like, that's Dills, right? And they I watched their mind just explode inside their skull. It's just like, that doesn't sound a damn thing like Dills. I'm like, yeah, it's totally him. He does the cheesy announcer bit pretty damn well.
I mean, I went to school for radio, so when I host the show, I have a little bit different cadence and I lower my voice a touch, and I have done it, but I don't do it like Fletcher. I mean, Fletcher is just he's a man among children when it comes to announcing stuff. So it's awesome that he lended his dulcet tones to our intro. And I was excited to find, he gave me that a long time ago, and I wasn't able to actually get this done until now, but it actually worked out. The timing was perfect. So check out Fletcher. He does like all the Frog Pants stuff, and he's awesome. So thank you to him.
And now that the intro is properly updated, we're going to work on getting an intro video made so that the beginning of the show is a little snappier.
Yeah. And Johnson, I guess I'll unpull the Johnson. New bumpers will be coming very soon as well.
Oh,
so we're upgrading.
That's fine. Yeah, we're gonna slap a fresh coat of paint on this old chicken.
Yeah.
For the next 100 episodes.
Don't paint your chickens.
I was just saying, painting the chicken is totally a euphemism.
Well, we know that you're supposed to hug the chickens now, apparently. That makes them less angry. So
according to Team 5.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that's a confirmation in the next. Since it'll probably be expansion. Next adventure, we will get a spell that is called Hug and will unenrage minions.
Ooh.
All right.
That would be amazing.
That's actually a pretty good card.
It'll be our first neutral spell.
Yeah.
Because
if it was like a 0-cost spell or something, I could see that actually getting play.
Everyone can hug. I mean, Maybe not Garrosh, but you could turn him into the dwarf.
Yeah, he's not a hugger. Yeah, that's true.
Jocelyn, where can folks find you?
Actually, and this is the perfect time to announce it on episode 100, my Twitter handle and Twitch have actually changed. You can find me now at Joss Plays. So it's JOCE Plays. It was time for a change. Nobody knew what GIS was, so everyone go follow me all the places. If you were already following me on Twitter, you don't have to do anything. I just switched it over. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. I've been streaming a lot. I streamed on the weekends and everything else. Didn't manage to do one tonight, but am streaming 5-6 days a week. Having a lot of fun. And so again, that is twitch.tv/JossPlays. You can also find me here on A Move TV every Wednesday night doing The Gamers In, which is the general gaming podcast. So yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. I'm now very confused. My Twitter was like blowing up earlier because so many people, by the way, sent in like tweets, hashtag TAC100, so many kind things, the emails, the calls. Thank you all. But I was so confused with my Twitter notifications because it was like, Just Plays, likes your tweet. I'm like, who the hell is Just Plays? But the avatar is Jocelyn. I thought somebody was like pretending to be you, and it was bothering me. So thank you, Jocelyn. Right after everyone... I think you might live to regret this because everyone knows how to spell GIS because you're literally spelling it out every time you say it. People might misspell Joss. As someone who has a name that is constantly misspelled.
Yeah, everyone's going to be like, I'm typing in JOSS Plays and nothing's happening.
I know.
They're going to spell it like Joss Whedon.
I did think about that, but everyone said that I should have Joss in my name because it's just as iconic as GIS Gamer now, apparently. So... I'm hoping that the whole like Joss to Legend and Joss to everything, which seems to be a hashtag thing on Twitter now, I'm hoping that helps people kind of transition over. And like I said, if you're already following GIS Gamer, then you're now following Joss Plays. I just flipped the username, so
I think it's a good time to do it. I was actually thinking about this. I was thinking about this because if I move to Austin and my Twitch is Willie Dills SF, it's a little weird, but
yeah,
I'm too deep now to change it.
Yeah, Twitch, you actually have to start completely all over again. So you will actually have to go into Twitch and refollow my stream, which is kind of unfortunate, but I figured, it was a good a time as any.
Better to do it now.
I have some plans coming up in the next few months that are going to make it really important for me to kind of promote all the new things, and GIS Gamer just wasn't working for me. So we've made the switch, people. Get on the Joss train.
Sweet. I still have SC at the end of my Reddit handle, and I don't do any StarCraft content anymore. So, we all make mistakes.
Exactly. It's one of those things where it's like, I just started to internet. What should I use? No one's ever going to see this. It doesn't even matter.
Oh, how wrong we all were.
Usernames matter, people.
That they do. And speaking of which, you can find me on Twitter.
So do Arena Warriors. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Out goes Brode and Frodan, so do all of the Twitch chat room users that I am not going to miss.
The ones who are spamming for the,
Oh, yeah.
But the people were hyped for the show. We got a lot of people who were not familiar with us. They're like, why are these people blathering on about 100 episodes? This is episode 1 as far as I'm concerned.
So it's just like, well, kind sir in the chat room, the world does not revolve around you. Time does, in fact, continue marching on. So, folks, you can find me on Twitter at GarrettArt. I'm also over at nomoonart.com for my graphic design portfolio. And on Into the Nexus, talking Heroes of the Storm, which I believe we're actually doing on Wednesday this week because Kyle's going to be here for a wedding, but I'm going to be gone, going to DragonCon, so we're not going to see each other. That's sad, but nonetheless, that's where you can find me. Check out Into the Nexus. Keep listening to this until we are geriatric old Hearthstone players in a retirement home doing this show from our, electric wheelchairs. I want a rascal. I want a sipped up rascal. So enjoy it. Check out our sponsors, doghousesystems.com, or you can use the code TAC to get a 120 gigabyte solid state drive added onto your already amazing Doghouse Systems gaming PC. I love mine. We love them. Use the code, get a hard drive, support the show. Thanks for listening, everyone. Until, tomorrow for the Patron call-in episode. Job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yes! 100.
Epic.